should know. I have never really liked you at all. I cannot hide it anymore. I've been thinking about the future, trying to forget about the past. So many ways that I could change for the better. Don't
This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, is for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free.
Hey y'all, I'm so glad y'all are here with me today. I'm so glad to see y'all. Abellis and Michael Green Chilechicken, KK, allegedly speculating's here. That's always good. Hey, Parabola, good to see you. I almost called you Paramandy. I like your picture. Hey, Bad Girl, good to see you. Hannah, UK, good to see you. Um, These nuts is here. Scratch the paint. Chow is here. Chow, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. That was so very sweet and supportive of you, and I really appreciate it. Let me see if I can see who they went to. Hold on just a minute. Hold on just a minute. Um, Okay, those went to Justice with Mercy, Sandra Lynn, Lucky Shot, California Amy, and Sunflower May. If you were gifted from Chow and you are aware you were gifted, please tell Chow thank you, and I will grab the crazy train and pick you up on the way to Speculation Station. Thank you so much, Chow. I'm going off the rails on a crazy train. I really appreciate that. Scratch the Pate, good to see you. Parababy says I'm driving to Oklahoma. You be safe. Anders, Lena Lee Originals, good to see you. I'm so glad y'all are here. Yay. Okay. Edith, good to see you, sweetheart. How you feeling today, Abellis? Yeah, how are you feeling? Yeah, Cindy was gifting out yesterday. I'm not sure who all gifted. They gift a lot around here. They're all really sweet and supportive. Okay, so I know that somebody had emailed me and asked me to do the Emily Pike case um, not long ago. And I was looking on crime timelines and I did find this today and thought that we would go over it. Um, when we get done talking about this, and it's got like videos and documents and things like that, I am good, thank you. Um, I'm good. I went up to the garden with the geese this morning. We weeded in the garden. I got quite a bit of the grass pulled up, and yeah, doing good. Thank you, sweetheart. Um, so yeah, the Emily Pike case. I don't know much about it. I know somebody had asked me to cover it. I did find all of this information. Again, this is on Crime Timelines, where you can find information on just about anything, and you could start your own YouTube channel if you wanted to. So I thought we'd talk about it today, and I would kind of learn about the case with you guys. It's got some videos, it's got some documents. So let's find out who Emily Pike is or was and what her story is. All right. So this is Missing Emily Pike. I did read part of it and found that she's no longer missing. Some of her has been found. But this was the missing runaway juvenile photo, and it says missing Emily Pike. Emily Pike was born May 16th, 2010, in Arizona to Steph DeSola. Emily has 3 siblings. On January 27, 2025, at 8:20 p.m., Emily Pike, a 14-year-old member of the San Carlos Apache tribe, was reported missing from a group home in Mesa, Arizona in January 2025. Her dismembered remains were later discovered near Globe. The tragedy sparked national attention and cast a spotlight on the failures of group homes to protect vulnerable youth. We have a police report. It says Emily Pike was 14. She was Native American. She was 4'10", weighed 115 pounds, and she had brown eye and brown hair. So this is the police report. Um, General offense information. She was reported. It was reported January 27th, 2025. Um, okay. This is throwing me off because it says Monday 2019, Mon 1900. Okay, anyway. Um, it's from Maricopa County, Mesa, Arizona. There's no gang retaliation or involvement. A missing juvenile, um, Native American. Um, I don't know what this is. So, juvenile ran away from group home. Okay. So, we'll read the original narrative. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Joy. Good to see you. Yeah, the murdered and missing Indigenous women is important to me. I love the culture. I've always been fascinated by the culture. And I don't think, I feel like a lot more should be done about it, especially considering the numbers in comparison of missing and murdered Indigenous women compared to other ethnicities. Cindy, I think I said hey to you, but if I didn't, hello, love. Yes, she had run away a few times before. Those could be the dates. Okay, yeah. So this reads digital recording statement. It should be noted during this investigation, I was wearing an on officer body camera, and the following is a summary of statements and observations made during the investigation and not direct quotes unless noted. Any breaks or lapse of video is due to either speaking with an on scene officer or as unintentional delayed start of the video. The digital video file was downloaded and stored at evidence.com for further information and details. The narrative. It should be noted I was on duty as a sworn Mesa Police Department officer wearing my full Mesa Police Department uniform and operating a fully marked Mesa Police Department vehicle. On January 27th at 2025 at approximately 2019 hours, I responded to the address for a missing person call for service. Call comments indicated juvenile absent without leave approximately 30 minutes prior. I spoke with the reporting party who was identified as Kathy Montano with her MVD photo. Kathy is the manager for the group home at the dispatch location. I spoke with the reporting party who was identified as, oh, I read that. Kathy indicated one of the clients, and we're going to assume that's Emily, left out of her bedroom window and has not returned. The window screen was pushed out from the inside. Kathy stated that Emily has run away several times in the past. Kathy did not indicate any exigent circumstances. Emily was described as a 14-year-old native female, approximately 4'10", 115 pounds, with medium length brown hair. Emily does not have a cell phone. Emily was last seen wearing a pink and gray shirt. Kathy indicated the last time Emily ran away, she was located near Fitch Park. My area check was negative at Fitch Park. Kathy provided a picture of Emily that was attached to the call for service and submitted to records. I contacted Mesa Police Records and spoke with the records specialist who assisted with entering Emily into NCIC as a missing person. I contacted Sergeant Hutchinson and updated him with details of the case. This ended my involvement. This one reads on February 19th at 20:02 hours, I responded to a call for service reference an agency follow-up. Call comments stated that the reporting party was with the Bureau of Indian Affairs. Additional call comments stated the reporting party had a Jane Doe he believed to be a missing Mesa juvenile. The missing juvenile was said to possibly be Emily. Upon arrival, I contacted Agent Summers from the Bureau of Indian Affairs Homicide Unit. Agent Summers advised that Emily, a female believed to be Emily, was located within the Gila County Indian Reservation. Agent Summers stated Emily, the missing juvenile, stated something. I'm going to assume it says Emily, the missing juvenile flyer distributed by the Mesa Police Department. Agent Summers asked me for contact information to Mesa Police Homicide Unit to share information and aid in the investigation led by Gila County. Immediately, Immediately, I notified Sergeant Bailey on the above mentioned via cellular phone and provided him with Agent Summers' contact information. I ended the phone call and advised Agent Summers the Mesa Police Department Homicide Unit would be contacting him. Agent Summers stated he understood and I cleared. This included that person's involvement. Now we're going back to January 18th. Hey, Abraham and Rubba. Yes, please hit the thumbs up and thank you. Let me get a sip of my coffee. Alrighty. So now this one jumps back to the 28th of January 2025. And it says on January 28, 2025, at received this case for further investigation and review for a missing 14-year-old female Emily. At 10:12, I contacted Lisa at the group home, I'm assuming. She advised me that Emily was still missing and it was unknown where she could be. I asked Lisa about any medical conditions or concerns for Emily, and she stated that Emily was on medication for mental health and behavioral issues. She also provided me with the contact information for Emily. San Carlos Apache tribe, she also provided me with the contact information for the San Carlos Apache tribe case manager, Lori Good. I then contacted Lori and she confirmed that Emily had a history of behavioral and mental health concerns. She did not know of any possible locations for Emily at that time. On January 29th, the next day, I received a voicemail from Lisa that she responded to the Rock Teen Center in Mesa, where Emily had gone in the past, and they had not seen or heard from Emily since she left the group home at 1500 hours. I reached out to Lisa and she said Emily was still missing and there was no new information on her whereabouts. At 15:35, I sent a missing person bulletin for Emily to law enforcement statewide and requested a hospital alert to local hospitals via Mesa PD Communication Center. On February 11th at 10:53, I contacted Lisa for any new information regarding Emily. She told me that the group home received a voicemail on February 7th of 2025 from an unknown person stating that Emily was with her mother on the San Carlos reservation, according to a Facebook post. Lisa did not have Emily's mother's information. At 10:58, I called Lori and requested information on Emily's mother regarding the anonymous tip. Lori advised me that she had recently been to Emily's mother's residence and questioned her about the tip. Lori said when she spoke to Emily's mother, Stephanie DeSola, Stephanie told her that Emily was not at her residence and the Facebook post was an old post. According to Lori, Stephanie said she had not heard from Emily and appeared to be worried about her. Lori stated that she could go back to Stephanie's residence with San Carlos Apache Tribal Police to verify Emily was not there. Lori also emailed me that the San Carlos Apache Police Department report number and the order for authorization and consent filed with the San Carlos Apache Children's Court. On February 20th at 7:22, I called Lori and left a voicemail for her to call me regarding any new information regarding Emily's whereabouts. And at 11:20, I reached out to Lisa at the group home, who told me that the tip she originally said came in on the 7th was actually sent to the group home on the 2nd at 10:19 by an unknown female. On February 27, 2025, I was contacted by Mesa PD homicide detective who informed me that Emily was positively identified by Gila County Sheriff's Office as a homicide victim in their jurisdiction. Detective Ingram advised me to have Emily removed from the missing person database, and he was continuing to assist Gila with their investigation. At 16:55, I canceled the missing person bulletin. Emily was cleared from NCIC as a missing persons. NFI missing persons case is closed and the investigation for her homicide is ongoing at this time. And then that's just, oh my gosh. She was last seen wearing a pink and gray long sleeve shirt. Hey, Katya. Her voice and killers were caught on tape? Really? See, I don't know. I don't know much about this case. Hey, Blue Jay. Good to see you. Hey, Jenny Jen. Good to see you. Katya. Thank you. I saw that you've been doing that case, or I think you started a new one out of South Carolina today. I thought that was cool. I went in there and hit the thumbs up, I do believe. I'll go check. Actually, we can do it now. For those of you that do not know, Katya has a true crime channel. Hold on. Looks like this. She is live. Oh, gotta mute that. Hi, everybody. So go hit the thumbs up. I will share this. Doo-doo-doo. Okay. I'm gonna drop the link. Drop the link. See, she's covering a case right now. Make sure y'all go subscribe to her and give her a thumbs up on her case that she's covering. No info on Emily's visitors. Oh no. Okay. So we're going to go back to the timeline now that we have read that report. Hold on. Yay, Katya. You left the trial to come over? Jenny Jen, thank you for being a member for 8 months. Oh my gosh. No way. 8 months already? I thought it had been like 6. That really just astonished me. Thank you, Jenny Jen. Jenny Jen said, glad to be here with all of you day after day. I'm glad you're here with us day after day. You're so wonderful and informational and lovely, my A1 since day one. For those of you that don't know, I think Jenny Jen was the first subscriber to my channel when I was just sitting over here talking to myself. Bad girl. Yeah, that's a lot, isn't it? All right. Emily Pike. Hold on. Okay. Emily Pike, it says missing Emily Pike. Emily Pike missing from a group home operated by Sacred Journey Incorporated. Emily's life in Peridot was marked by instability. Her parents had long been separated, and her father cycled in and out of prison, most recently on charges related to arson. Although her mother retained custody, a history of substance addiction made it difficult for her to provide consistent care, according to family members. Emily lived in a deteriorating manufactured home shared with her brother, mother, grandmother, aunts, and others. The residents sat along a dirt path strewn with broken glass, trash, and overgrown brambles. The house, as frequently chaotic, with unreliable plumbing and a leaking roof patched with tarps. Oh my gosh. In summer of 2023, at age 13, Emily was assaulted on the San Carlos Apache Reservation. The Game and Fish officers launched investigation into an assault and notified tribal authorities. Although tribal authorities arrested a relative in connection with the incident, the alleged assault was ultimately released without prosecution. Oh my God. This poor child, Jesus. So she's living in a house with aunts, uncles, all of the things. Her house is deteriorating. The daggum driveway is covered in broken glass. Oh my gosh. And then she's assaulted and it's not even investigated or prosecuted. August of 2023, due to concerns for her safety, she was removed from her mother's custody and placed in a group home where her contact with relatives was restricted. The San Carlos Apache Tribe's Social Services Department placed Emily Pike at Sacred Journey Incorporated, a residential child care center located in Mesa, Arizona. Emily's mother, Steph DeSola, was prohibited by tribal social services from having contact with Emily following her removal from the home. In September of 2023, Emily is hospitalized for self-harm. September 11th of 2023, group home staff reported Emily Pike and another child missing. At 6:12 a.m. on September 11th of 2023, Emily Pike and another 15-year-old run away from their Mesa group home operated by Sacred Journey Incorporated, which housed 10 children. Mesa police were notified that the girls escaped through a bedroom window and a side gate. According to the report, the employee had administered their medication but discovered they were gone when she returned to check on them. Surveillance cameras in the hallway and office areas of the home did not capture the girls leaving, leading staff to believe they had climbed out of a bedroom window and exited through a side gate. The employee also mentioned that one of the girls had a, quote, secret cell phone, unquote, which had been confiscated the night before. The girl was eventually located at a Mesa playground in Kleinman Park. When questioned by police, both girls reportedly said they didn't want to return to the group home because they were forced to clean, scrubbing walls, baseboards, windowsills, and even getting on their hands and knees to scrub grout from the tile. One of the girls told officers she would run away again if returned, and she said she'd rather go to jail or live with her grandmother. September 20th of 2023. Thank you. That's very sweet. Okay, I'm live right now, so I'll get with you in a little bit. Thank you very much. I love you. Okay, September 20th of 2023. Emily Pike was reported missing once again by group home staff. While an officer was en route to the home, they spotted a teenager matching her description. Upon making contact, Pike told officers she did not want to return to the group home because it makes her uncomfortable when the staff gets in arguments with other juveniles in the home. When an officer located her, Emily expressed that she did not want to return because of ongoing arguments between staff and other juveniles made her feel uncomfortable. When officer calls her name and identifies her, Emily at first denies that's her name. Officer, quote, Emily, relax, quote, okay, I need to get you back where you need to go, unquote. Emily says, quote, I just want to see my mom. The group home is not my home. I would rather stay with her grandmother instead. I want to speak to her mom. No one understands me or is going to help me. I'm not going to that fucking group home. I hate it there. At the group home request, she was sent for evaluation at Mind 24/7, a mental health facility, but before returning. Oh my goodness. This is really sad. October 31st, 2023 at 6:36 p.m. Staff reports that Emily has run away for the fourth time. 9:15 the home called officers to let them know Pike had returned. Staff overhears her say that she has been laced or possibly drugged, but she is not sent for medical care. Her behavior is monitored overnight. Police report around 9:15 p.m. the home called officers to let them know that Pike had returned. Staff told police they overheard Emily telling other residents that she was laced, but denied the need for immediate medical attention and stated they would continue to monitor her behavior through the night. November 8th of 2023 at 10 a.m., Emily attempted to unalive herself just before 10 a.m. when a staff member found Emily in a master bedroom closet with a shoestring around her neck tied to a doorknob. November 26th of 2023, after being released from the hospital, Emily was picked up by her aunt and uncle. They took her on a Thanksgiving trip through Colorado, Wyoming, and Utah so she could meet other relatives. During the trip, however, Emily's behavior raised some concern. November 28th of 2023, a disagreement the day after Thanksgiving set off a chain of events. Emily ran away, and when police officer found her, she refused to leave with her relatives. She expressed unaliving thoughts, telling them she wanted to die and would see them in hell. The situation ultimately led to her hospitalization, and a return flight to Arizona was placed to a secure behavioral health facility. December of 2024, Emily returned to the group home after she spent the year in a secure behavior facility. Now we're on January 27th, the last runaway. Yeah, this is really sad. Hey, Jackie. Sorry. Okay. So January 27th, 2025 at 7 p.m., Emily ran away. 7:45, she was last seen on foot near Mesa Drive and McKellips Road. At 8:19, she's officially reported missing to Mesa Police Department. Here's that report, which we had just got done reading. She was so pretty. Okay. Let me pull the timeline back up. Thank you. It's given a case number, a classification, which was a missing juvenile runaway, and the reporting party was Kathy from the group home. According to the group home manager's report, Emily had a snack again out of her bedroom window. So I think that was supposed to be snuck out of her bedroom window. And this wasn't the first time she had run away. In a previous incident, she was found near Fitch Park a few days after her disappearance. Staff checked the Rock Teen Center, a place Emily had visited, but no one there had seen or heard from her. Staff members also reported that Emily had a history of behavioral and mental health concerns and was taking prescribed medication. She was under the care of a case manager through the San Carlos Apache tribe. Emily's roommate said Emily told her she was going to meet with a boy she met while taking guitar lessons. The San Carlos Apache tribe stated that the group home where Emily Pike lived, operated by Sacred Journey Incorporated, reporting her missing 3 times in 2023 and the 4th time in January of 2025, shortly before she was found murdered off of US 60 northeast of Globe. At 8:30 p.m., there's a body cam footage. Okay, stop it. Okay, we have body cam that we'll watch.
New developments in the Emily Pike case.
Maybe.
She was the 14-year-old girl found murdered after running away from her Mesa group home. While there
Hey,
are
Ginger.
still no arrests in the case, new tonight, ABC 15 obtaining body camera video related to Emily's past disappearances. Our Ashley Holden joining me in studio now. And Ashley, this video giving us a new look into her heartbreaking past.
Faye, Emily Pike disappeared from a Mesa group home multiple times. The final time she left, the teen never returned and was found dead outside the valley. Before we aired this story tonight, we sat down with members on both sides of Emily's family so they could see the video we're about to show you in full, as still so many questions remain. It's important to note here, some of the video is tough to watch.
Emily, Emily, Emily. Can you please stop for me so I can talk to you?
September 20th, 2023, a Mesa police officer spots then 13-year-old Emily Pike walking along a canal after she was reported missing by her group home.
No, I don't want to go back.
I know. Let's talk, okay?
No.
It's okay. Hey, it's okay. You're not in trouble, okay?
As we've reported, Emily reported 2 sexual assaults before being placed in foster care. The San Carlos Apache tribe placed her in a home operated by Sacred Journey, Inc.
That was so sad hearing her cry and say she just wanted to see her mom. Oh my God.
I just want to see my mom.
All right, come here. We'll call your mom, okay?
No.
It's okay. Well, tell us
Just let me go.
Tell us what's going on.
I want to stay with my grandma instead.
Emily repeatedly saying the group home was not her home. She was reported missing 2 other times that year, but police records show she was either found or later returned.
Did she ever run away then?
Yeah, she had AWOL back then.
This is body cam video from January of this year showing a Mesa police officer taking down the information for Emily when she was reported missing again.
And have you done like a sweep of the house just to make sure that she's not like hiding in the closet or something weird? Okay.
That's what we're supposed to do. I looked under the bed, I looked in the closet, I looked outside, the gate was open, the screen door window was kicked out.
Emily, now 14, was found weeks later murdered about 20 miles northeast of Globe. The Gila County Sheriff's Office is leading the investigation with help from agencies like the FBI and Bureau of Indian Affairs, but there have been no arrests in her case.
So many other questions pop up regarding these videos. When they say we failed her, we all did. It's just heartbreaking.
ABC 15 showed the full body camera video to relatives of Emily's on both sides of her family.
I think that's the right approach that officer took right there. I mean, like I said, there's more questions that pop up. Did the tribal social services keep contact with them? How often did they reach out to the group home?
The Department of Child Safety did launch a licensing inquiry into the group home where Emily was staying, but told us they did not believe any action taken or not taken by the home caused the terrible outcome in this case. There is,
I mean, you could have at least let her have monitor calls with her mother if the mother was an issue. Missing and murdered Indigenous women. Bad girl. I think they could have at least let her have contact with her family, even if it was supervised. That's her damn mama. Like, come on now.
is a combined $175,000 reward for information in Emily's case. Both sides of the family say it was hard to watch the videos, but they are committed to pushing for justice for Emily. Back to you, Faye.
And Ashley, I know you're committed to following this case every step of the way. Thank you.
Like, statistically, the amount of murdered and missing Indigenous women is statistically, like, a lot. Okay, let me see. I'm going to see if this is, if these two play a longer version. Okay. So, statistically, they go missing at a much higher rate than other ethnicities
Emily.
do, from what I've heard.
Emily. Can you please stop
Trigger
for me
warning.
so I can talk to you?
No, I don't want to go back.
I know. Let's talk,
Hold
okay?
on.
No.
It's okay. Hey.
My mom.
Hey, it's okay. You're not in trouble, okay?
I just want to see my mom.
All right, come here. Well, we'll call your mom, okay?
No.
It's okay. Well, tell us
Just
what's
let
going
me
on.
go.
Tell us what's going on.
I want to
Good
stay
job.
with my
This is-
grandma instead.
Okay, so something happened and she was assaulted by a family member from what I was reading in the document that we've read. And after that, shortly after that, she was removed from the home where she lived with her mother, several relatives, and things like that. I'm not real sure. But in the timeline, it said that she was assaulted. They looked into it, but nobody faced any kind of prosecution for assaulting her. And it was shortly after that she was removed. It's going to play this again.
Did she ever run away then?
Yeah, she did walk back there.
And have you done like a sweep of the house just to make sure that she's not like
Yeah.
hiding in the closet or something weird? Okay.
That's what we're supposed to do. I looked under the bed, I looked in the closet, I looked outside, the gate was open, the screen door window was kicked out.
I'll run by real quick here. I'll get you to sign the missing person's affidavit to enter in as a missing person. I'll pick up that picture from you, and then I'll try to at least like search around in the area. It hasn't been too long. I'll check over by the A's facilities as well on my way up to you, just to see if she kind of went back to that same spot if we're lucky. And then you kind of know how it goes from there. We'll get her in as a missing person, and then if we get contact with her, obviously we'll notify you right away that we found her. All right. Yep, seen a bit. Bye.
Yeah, it wasn't at the group home, but she had ran away several times from the group home. Okay, we're going to go back to the timeline. Okay. The officer asked, had Emily disappeared before? The group home employee says, yes, she had a while back. She's got a pink and gray striped long sleeve shirt. That was one of the girls here at the group homes she had said she had. That said, okay, that's what one of the girls here at the group home said she had. The officer asked for information that would help identify Emily and asked the staff member if they have looked around the home. The group home employee says, I looked under the bed and the closet, and I looked outside. The gate was open, the screen window was kicked out. We would have to alert the San Carlos Apache tribe. The officer says, we'll get her in as a missing person, and then if we get in contact with her, obviously we'll notify you right away that we found her. January 28, 2025, police spoke with an employee from the group home where Emily Pike had been staying. According to this report, the employee informed Mesa Police Pike was taking medication for mental health and behavioral issues. She also provided contact information for Emily's case manager with the San Carlos Apache tribe. Records indicate that she had been placed in the group home by the San Carlos Apache tribe. So it takes us right back to the police report I just read. At this stage, the case still remains open, and Emily is still unaccounted for. No fingerprints or distinctive marks on file, but she does appear to have a birthmark right here. So I think it was Department of Social Services from the Indian reservation that put her in the group home originally. That's what some people are saying. There's some bad stuff going on in that home. I mean, I get making kids do chores, and my kids do chores, but I'm not about to have them scrub the damn grout in the tile shower or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Some people do. It's not necessarily child abuse. But again, I mean, damn, you took that girl away from her whole entire family and everything, and you're not even letting her talk to her mama. Like, if there was an issue with the mother or caused by the mother, you could still let her talk to her supervised on the phone or something. I mean, like, you took her away from everybody and expects her not to act out? I don't know. I don't like that. Thank you, bad girl. Yeah, please hit the thumbs up. Missing murdered Indigenous women, girls, 2S. Missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit people. Two-Spirit refers to Indigenous LGBTQIA plus people. Thank you for that, Abellis. Anders said, I don't really know why they put girls with problems in a group home. It doesn't seem to be optimal. They do it here too. I don't know either. Like, I don't know. I mean, it can help sometimes, but a lot of times it doesn't seem to. January 29th of 2025, group home staff rechecked the Rock Teen Center place Emily had visited in the past, but no one there had seen or heard from her since she went missing on January 27th, 2025. At 3:35 p.m., a statewide missing person bulletin is issued for Emily Pike. February 2nd, 2025, an unknown caller leaves a voicemail at the group home claiming Emily is with her mother on San Carlos Apache land, on the reservation basically. February 26, 2025, a Facebook post makes the same claim. Police confirm it is false. Emily's mother says she hasn't heard from her. On February 6, 2025, an anonymous Facebook post claimed Emily was with her mother on the reservation. However, police later confirmed the tip was false, and her mother stated she had not heard from Emily. February 7, 2025, group home staff finally retrieve and review the voicemail left on February 2nd, 2025. February 11, 2025, police officially review the voicemail. The mother again confirms the tip is untrue. Police were notified by a group home employee about a voicemail that had been received on February 2nd but wasn't accessed until February 7th. The message left by an unknown caller claimed that Emily was on San Carlos Apache tribe land with her mother. After investigation, Emily's mother confirmed she had not heard from her daughter, proving the tip false. Okay, Valentine's Day of this year, February 14th. This is going to be triggering. Yes, happy Pride. Why am I? Okay, there you are. I was like, why have I still. I couldn't see you when you came in, but now I see you. All right. I'll put up the trigger warning. This is going to be hard to hear. On Valentine's Day, nonetheless. Nonetheless. Okay. The detectives found the head and torso in a large container. Let me start again. The detectives found the head and torso in large contractor trash bags, and the legs were found in separate bags. That Gila County Sheriff's Office said that after searching the area, detectives couldn't locate the rest of the body parts. This suggests that she was murdered at a different location and that this is where her body was disposed of. The preliminary autopsy results found the girl had visible face and head trauma. No identifying clothing, jewelry, or identification was found with the remains. The cause of death is still undetermined. Police report human remains found in bags along Highway 60 near Globe, Arizona, about 100 miles from where Emily was last seen alive. The Gila County Sheriff's Office said the body was found by people on a trail near mile marker 277. February 19th of 2025, the Bureau of Indian Affairs contacts Mesa Police Department suspecting the remains Jane Doe may be Emily Pike. Okay. February 27th of 2025, authorities confirmed the remains belonged to Emily Pike. She was found 100 miles away from where she was last seen alive. She had been dismembered. The discovery is made 1 month after her disappearance. The Gila County Sheriff's Office received a call from some people who were out in the area and discovered the trash bags while walking down the trail. When they investigated it, they believed there was possibly a body in one of the bags, said Lieutenant James Lahidi. A month after she was first reported missing, authorities confirmed that the dismembered remains found in Globe belonged to Emily. On February 28, 2025, the Arizona Department of Child Safety, or DCS, opened a licensing inquiry into the group home where Emily Pike had been living 1 day after her remains were officially identified by authorities. That is so sad. Like, if we take one thing from this, I just want people to know that this is Gila, thank you. That we need to let our children know that it's dangerous out there. It's good to see you, Miss Kimmy. Gila, okay. March 8th. The Gila County Sheriff's Office is asking for any ring surveillance video after January 26th that could include footage of Emily Pike passing by and any tips on possible sightings, as they still have no person of interest in her homicide. March 10th, 2025, members of multiple groups rallied for a day of action to call for justice for the murdered Emily Pike. Watch the story in the player below. Let's see. Okay. Where is the player? I don't know where the player is. It doesn't have like the link for me to click on. Okay. Well, we'll continue on. March 15th, 2025, a candlelight vigil is held in Emily's honor. The San Carlos Apache tribe announces a $75,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. Emily Pike, 14, was described by her family as a joyful young girl who had a deep love for music and a contagious smile. She was a treasured member of the San Carlos Apache tribe. March 18th, 2025, a multi-agency task force is formed. Gila County Sheriff's Office, San Carlos Apache Police Department, Mesa Police Department, FBI, and Bureau of Indian Affairs. The Gila County Sheriff's Office announced that multiple agencies had joined forces to form a task force dedicated to investigating Emily Pike's case. The newly formed task force includes the Sheriff's Office, the San Carlos Apache Police Department, Mesa Police Department, FBI, and Bureau of Indian Affairs. Sheriff's Office phone number is 928-425-4491, option 1, or San Carlos Apache Police Department is 475-1700. The Gila County Sheriff's Office also established an online tip line to the investigation. Members of the public who have any information related to Emily Pike's case, my goodness, are encouraged to submit tips through the platform to help authorities in their ongoing efforts. When people click the link, the website will ask for a zip code when you create your account, and any agencies that subscribe to the online portal within a 50-mile radius of the online zip code that you entered will appear in a drop-down menu. March 21st of 2025, the San Carlos Apache tribe offered a $75,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for Emily's murder. This is the letter. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking, bad girl. I'm thinking that the person who did it knows her and didn't want her body found, I'm not trying to, hold on. I don't want y'all to think that, I think it's cartel related in every instance, but, when a body is dismembered like that, it makes me think possible cartel related, because that's how they get rid of victims. It's harder to identify when they're dismembered, unfortunately. Maybe she just come across somebody that was just a bad person in general and did that. I don't know. It's really sad and scary and devastating, and a lot of people failed her. I agree with what that gentleman said on the news clip. Everybody failed her. It's sad. Okay. So this is the letter from the San Carlos Apache tribe. The Honorable Wendy Rogers, a senator, Dave Marshall, representative, Walter Blackman, representative, regarding Emily Pike. Dear Governor Hobbs, Attorney General Mayors, Senator Rogers, Representative Marshall, and Blackman, on behalf of over 17,000 members of the San Carlos Apache tribe and the San Carlos Council, the tribe's governing body, I transmit council resolution number, and they made a resolution. This resolution requests an amendment to the Arizona revised statutes to strengthen children's group home standards. An investigation into group homes and runaways supports the motion to establish a missing Indigenous person alert system. Excuse me. We remain deeply distressed over the brutal murder of 14-year-old Emily Pike, who was placed by our tribe's Social Services Department at Sacred Journey Incorporated, a residential child care center located in Mesa. After a month there, Emily left the facility without permission on or about January 27th. Most of her dismembered remains were found in plastic garbage bags on February 14th, about 100 miles away off of U.S. Highway 60 near a remote forest road. Our council has offered a $75,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for Emily's murder. We have requested the public to supplement the reward to generate more interest and leads. This crime must not go unsolved. Emily was murdered in a cruel, depraved, and heinous act, and the perpetrators must be held accountable. Unfortunately, Emily is not the first child to leave Sacred Journey without the group home's permission. The Mesa Police Department reports that about 30 children have run away from Sacred Journey over the past 3 years. Whoa, I'm going to read that again because I messed it up. There's something in my eye, like when I blink, it gets blurry. I don't know what's going on today. It said the Mesa Police Department reports that about 30 children have run away from Sacred Journey over the past 3 years. What happened to these other children? Are they all safe and accounted for? Why has this clear failure to protect these children been allowed to continue unbaited for years? Why is there not bars on the windows? Why are 30 girls running away? If you're legitimately taking them out of bad environments and placing them into a better environment, why do they keep running away? Why are we not placing bars over the windows? Why is it so easy to just kick out the window and the screen and run away? Like that facility number one, because there's children in it that are leaving dangerous situations, should be locked down 24/7. Like you should have to have a card to get any window or door open in the facility. Fire alarms and things like that that open the stuff automatically. And why are that many running away if you're legitimately taking them out of bad homes and placing them in what's supposed to be a better environment? Not that many would have run away. That's insane. Why are they running away? Southern, good to see you. There are a few factors like jurisdictional issues, but mostly they are just marginalized group that predators have learned is an easy target that doesn't get investigated. Sad but true. Seem more personal to you? Running from a dangerous situation to a dangerous situation, yeah. As of last week, they started putting up the boards of Indigenous missing children. I hope they continue. Yes, sometimes the abuse does continue in group homes, unfortunately. Something is majorly wrong here, I agree. 30 children, and we don't even know what's happened to all of them. We strongly believe the circumstances require a comprehensive review by the state that goes beyond the ongoing police investigation into Emily's murder. We respectfully request Governor Hobbs, given your background in social work, take all steps necessary to implement reforms in group homes to ensure the safety of children is a top priority of your administration. And we respectfully request Attorney General Mayers investigate the circumstances surrounding Emily's unauthorized departure for Sacred Journey. This investigation should carefully review the safety, security, monitoring, licensing, and operational standards for group homes and determine how these could be strengthened to prevent children from leaving their care without permission. We ask that your recommendations be presented to the legislator to be considered in an appropriate legislation that is named in honor of Emily Pike. The tribe's resolution also supports the bill that would create an alert system upon learning that an Indigenous person is missing, in peril, or in the company of a dangerous person. An alert system should be immediately activated upon notification an Indigenous person is in danger. We appreciate Representative Martinez and her co-sponsors, Garcia, May, and Myron, for introducing the bill. I look forward to your support in passing and signing this bill into law. And they said thank you in their language, which I'm not even going to attempt to say because I don't want to disrespect anybody. Why have 30 children run away from there? That is insane. Hey, AliX. Definitely. I agree, Jenny. Southern said, in my opinion, there's abuse going on in this group home. No way would 30 kids be running away. Right. That's where I'm at. Yeah. I hope that she does get justice. Sounds like it as a stranger doesn't take the time to dismember someone. Right. Hey, AliX. Okay. They just quote from the letter I just read. On March 24th, 2025, the San Carlos Apache tribe urges the Arizona legislature to pass the bill establishing a missing Indigenous person alert system and implement tighter group home regulations in response to Emily's homicide. San Carlos Apache tribe urges... Okay, we just read that. Mesa police reported that over the past 3 years, 30 missing persons reports have been filed from the group home where Emily Pike had been living. While some of these cases involved habitual runaways, officials confirmed that Emily herself had been reported missing 4 times, including the most recent incident in January of 2025. But it said, oh, that's 30 missing person reports. Okay, Emily accounted for 4 of them, so it might have not been as many people. I thought it was 30 kids, but it's 30 reports, and Emily herself was 4 of those. Still not good. On May 7th of 2025, Mesa Police Department is asking for help. If you have information concerning the case, please contact the FBI's Phoenix Field Office at 623-466-1999. You may also contact your local FBI office, the nearest American embassy or consulate, or you can submit a tip online at tips.fbi.gov. The FBI is offering a reward of up to $75,000 for any person providing independently verifiable information and identifying the individuals responsible for the disappearance and homicide of Emily Pike. The Federal Bureau of Investigation's field office in Phoenix, the Gila County Sheriff's Office, San Carlos Apache Tribal Police Department, and Mesa Police Department, all in Arizona, are seeking the public's assistance in identifying the individual responsible for the disappearance and homicide of Emily. Emily was reported missing from a group home in Mesa, Arizona on January 27, 2025. On February 14, 2025, her remains were recovered by the Gila County Sheriff's deputies near Forest Road 355 on state land near the San Carlos Apache Indian Reservation in Arizona. June 3rd of 2025, ABC 15 obtained videos from two separate times the San Carlos Apache teen was reported missing from the group home. Those videos also showed the teen wanted to go home and talk to her mom instead of living at her Mesa group home. Emily was reported missing from the home operated by Sacred Journey Incorporated 3 times in 2023, and then a 4th time in January 2025. She was found deceased weeks later off of US 60 northeast of Globe. That's the letter. It says Veronica Cruz from the group home. Missing Veronica Cruz. Another teenage girl has gone missing from the same group home where Emily Pike lived before the homicide occurred. According to the Mesa Police Department, 17-year-old Veronica Cruz was last seen on May 18, 2024 around 4:55 and has remained missing since. A bulletin from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children indicates that Veronica may still be in the Mesa area or could have traveled to Casa Grande or Eloy. Authorities are urging anyone with information on her whereabouts to come forward. My God. You know, a lot of times, not all the time, but sometimes they get money, like for placing kids in these group homes and things like that. Like Department of Social Services will get money for that. And that could be why they're taking the kids and placing them there, even though it's not necessarily better. I wanted to show you guys 2 updates we have on Travis Decker. So, this is one of them, and I did a short video on this.
For Travis Decker right now, the man charged with killing his 3 daughters. Deputies say they could be closing in on his location south of Leavenworth this morning.
This morning, they believe Decker is in the Ingalls Creek area off of Highway 97. They're asking people who live there to take precautions to stay safe. King 5's Drew Andre is there this morning where multiple law enforcement agencies are combing the area. Drew, give us the details.
Right, well, right now we're at a bit of a rest stop here just off of 97, and this is where law enforcement is also using a little bit of a rest area for them too. But we know where the search is going on is right across 97 there in that direction, which right now is partly blocked off from people going in there, and that is the Ingalls Creek trailhead. And we know to the right there are also homes that are back there, and those are the people that have been told to be on high alert, lock their doors for their homes and their cars, and of course call 911 if they see any suspicious activity. That notice went out to residents last night. Now we want to give you a sense here too of the area that we're talking about relative to where Travis Decker was last known to be. The map you're looking at here shows that we're about 15 miles away. If you took a direct line from here to the campground where the 3 girls' bodies were found, that was Rock Island Campground off Icicle Road. By foot, there are several mountains that would have to be traversed to get to this area. We do know it would be about a 30 to 40 minute drive, but something that we've learned over the last week about Travis Decker, he is an ex-Army Ranger. Law enforcement has said that he is a very skilled outdoorsman, has spent months at a time out about in the outdoors. So that is something that police are really taking into account here as they continue this search. Now here in Ingalls Creek, since last night we could see different law enforcement vehicles that have been parked here. The sheriff's office said there's going to be a large police presence that will remain in this area as a precaution. We know.
Now that makes me feel like that they've located or pinpointed him to this general area. If they're doing all of this, they have good reason to believe he's there. I'm wondering if somebody had seen him.
Local and federal investigators, they've been searching all week long, all around the Wenatchee National Forest. There have been some specific areas that have popped up, like the Pacific Crest Trail, where cell phone data indicated that he could have been. Coming up in the next half hour, we are going to speak with someone whose mother-in-law lives back in one of those homes there, and they were notified about this last night. So we'll continue to follow this here from Chelan County. For now, reporting live, Drew Andre, King 5 News.
That update this morning.
So there was that one, and hold on. There was one about the handprint. I don't know about that. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Do it this way. There we go. Man's blood found at campsite where 3 young sisters found deceased as a search for their father continues in Washington. It looked like they were about to play a video. But it's an ad. Blood discovered at a campsite where the 3 young Washington State sisters were found deceased last week belonged to a male, authorities said Monday, as the search continued for their father, a former soldier with extensive survival skills. Investigators have been looking for Travis Caleb Decker, 32, since the night of May 30th, when he failed to return the girls to their mother's home in Wenatchee, about 100 miles east of Seattle, after a scheduled visit. Okay, the sheriffs did not say whether the tested samples had been taken from the tailgate. DNA and fingerprint analysis are pending, the news release said. Decker's dog was also found alive at the scene and turned over to the Humane Society for care. And these are the new images of Decker. Hold on. Let me see it. It made it big, so I'm wondering. Yeah, y'all can see it. Maybe. I apologize. I was reading this one. So, it says blood discovered at a campsite where 3 young Washington State sisters were found dead last week belonged to a male, authorities said Monday, as the search continued for their father, a former soldier with extensive survival skills. And then right here, the sheriff's office did not say whether the tested samples have been taken from the tailgate. DNA and fingerprint analysis are pending, the news release said. Decker's dog was also found alive at the scene and turned over to the Humane Society for care. And now we have this There we go.
To Washington State now in an intensifying manhunt. National Guardsmen joining law enforcement officers in their search
Sorry
for a
about
man
that.
accused of killing his 3 young daughters. Brooke Griffin of our Seattle affiliate KIRO TV has the latest. Brooke?
Nancy, the National Guard has now joined that
Hey,
search.
Tony.
They're assisting more than 100 local and state crews who are leaving from this command center via helicopter and sending crews deep into the Cascade Mountains. In the rugged terrain of central Washington state, the search for 32-year-old Travis Decker is now in its 9th day.
We're not going to leave any stone unturned.
This was the last time Decker was seen, picking up his 3 children, 9-year-old Peyton, 8-year-old Evelyn, and 5-year-old Olivia, for a planned custody visit on May 30th. Their mother, Whitney, reported them missing hours later when he failed to return them to her home. 3 days later, their bodies were found at a remote campsite.
Did you see that? Look at, oh my God, they were so beautiful. He had to be out of his head.
Campsite. Whitney Decker's attorney, Ariana Coatsart, says Travis Decker was an active parent.
Look. Oh my gosh.
He was going to all the girls' dance, soccer practices, everything, you name it.
Decker, 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 Decker. Nice.
Whitney would tell you, Travis loves 2 things in this world, those girls and Jesus.
Coatsart says the Afghanistan war.
There he is overseas. That's probably that march in Europe.
Veteran was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and struggles with PTSD. Decker is also well-versed in outdoor survival.
It sounds at times that he would go out and would be living off-grid for sometimes up to 2.5 months.
And late last night, some of those trails and campgrounds were reopened near where the girls were found. But officials still asking hikers and those who have remote cabins to remain vigilant. It's unclear if Decker is armed, but Nancy, the sheriff, says he is considered dangerous.
Brooke Griffin, thank you.
Your next breakdown could be any time.
Okay. Bella and Cece Watts, yeah. They were, weren't they? That's so sad. All right, I'm going to look on YouTube and see if there's anything else on Jack and Lily. But other than that, I don't really have a lot else to talk about today. I would hate to end it early, but I don't really have a lot to talk about. I do have some information I need to go over and start getting together, but other than that, I don't really have much else to talk about. Oh my God. Yeah, it's all like true crime stories, like, you know, that would it's not news reports, you know. I hate that when they do the AI generated photos. Okay, let's see if they got anything on Emily Pike real quick. This is updated 4 hours ago.
New developments in the Emily Pike case. She was the 14-year-old girl found murdered after running away from her Mesa group home. While there are still no arrests in the case, new tonight, ABC 15 obtaining body camera video related to Emily's past disappearances. Our Ashley Holden joining me in studio now. And Ashley, this video giving us a new look into her heartbreaking past.
Faye, Emily Pike disappeared from a Mesa group home multiple times. The final time she left, the teen never returned and was found dead outside the valley. Before we aired this story tonight, we sat down with members on both sides of Emily's family so they could see the video we're about to show you in full, as still so many questions remain. It's important to note here, some of the video is tough to watch.
Emily.
So that's what we just saw. And it was from 6 days ago. Oh, man.
It's 37, and this morning I'm staying on top of the Emily Pike case. It's been nearly 4 months since the San Carlos Apache teen was found dead outside Globe as investigators continue to search for suspects and search for answers. So is the community. I recently went to an event held in Emily's honor, and people told me they're not stopping until justice is served. With shovels, sage, and song, a community comes together to honor a life cut tragically short.
This little girl spoke to all of us.
14-year-old Emily Pike was found murdered on Valentine's Day outside Globe in Gila County, just a few weeks after running away from a Mesa group home. Months later, the case remains unsolved.
You can see people weeding and raking around the area.
Over the weekend, dozens of people cleaned up around the intersection of Main and McKellips, not far from that group home where Emily was staying. Volunteers converting this nearby fence into a memorial for the San Carlos Apache teen.
Emily's death really spoke.
I'm glad that they came out and did all this, but it's still really sad that Emily's no longer with us.
To a lot of our hearts.
Jolene Shorty is part of a new coalition advocating for missing and murdered Indigenous people. According to data from the Bureau of Indian Affairs, there are currently 4,200 unsolved cases.
Can you believe that? 4,200 unsolved cases for missing and Indigenous. The Highway of Tears. I can try. Yeah, the red dress too. I'll try to look it up. I'll have to find something that won't strike me.
Involving people from tribes all over the country.
Emily.
Just last week, ABC 15 obtained body camera video from September 2023.
It's okay. Hey. Hey, it's okay.
In it, Mesa police officers approached an emotional Emily, then just 13, after she had run away from her group home. She'd go on to run away 2 more times that same year.
I just want to see my mom.
All right, come here. We'll call your mom, okay?
That is a call to all mothers. I want my mom. This little girl's crying.
So there are 2 goals for this event. The first is to honor and celebrate Emily's life. The second is to hopefully get answers, which is why they're passing out this flyer, hoping that someone in this area saw something or knows something.
We all wanted justice, and we all wanted change for our community.
Just like Adorable Moore.
We need more people to care.
She came out not just to help with the cleanup, but also to shine a light on problems facing reservations from coast to coast.
We are people that aren't really looked at.
As an Indigenous woman living here, do you feel invisible?
Yes. It feels like if I go missing or something were to happen to me, nothing would be done about it.
And that push to raise awareness doesn't stop. The group tells me they're also hoping to come out once a month to clean up that area. Now, last week, we told you that Gila County deputies had served several search warrants and sent items off for testing. I followed up with Gila County Monday. They told me so far those lab results haven't come back on any of those items yet, but I'll keep checking back in. And as a reminder, there's currently a joint reward of $175,000 for any information that leads to an arrest in this case.
An Indiana woman rides all the way out to eastern Arizona.
So I guess the reward has gone up to $175,000 for information leading to an arrest, which is important to know. See, a lot of these will strike me. We'll try it. If this is cut out of the replay, I will post it in the description box. I think Emily's killer is close to her group home too, and on that reservation. Hold on. Hopefully we can listen to it. If it disappears, I'll be right back. If it's not in the replay, I will drop it in the description box.
Not knowing, how can...
Oh, hold on.
You know, they were a gift to you, and to have somebody come in and take that away and not know where or why or how.
Yes, Joy.
Is the not knowing. How can you grieve? How can you deal with not knowing?
Is it acceptable that we allowed our most vulnerable to disappear, to be murdered?
So, I don't know a lot about this either.
The question is upsetting. It challenges our fundamental values.
Okay. In 2013, Human Rights Watch released a report stating that the Royal Canadian Mounted Police in northern British Columbia failed to protect Aboriginal women.
Are society's most vulnerable women treated the same way as anybody else?
Aboriginal women are 3.5 times more likely to experience violence than non-Aboriginal women.
For at least 4 decades, women have gone missing from Highway 16.
Families of the mostly First Nations women who died along Highway 16, known as the Highway of Tears, encouraged investigators to keep going.
582 Aboriginal women have been reporting missing and murdered across Canada.
The families are hoping that the renewed attention will provide more momentum into the investigation and public pressure until all of the cases are solved. But until there are more arrests, the Highway of Tears will be a dark shadow over the lives of people here.
Oh, hold on. Over 40 women have been reported missing or murdered along the Highway 16 corridor known as the Highway of Tears. A majority of those women were Aboriginal. Let me see what y'all are saying because I've been on a different page. This creek is in Washington too, I think so. Abella said, I drove it by myself. I drove it in 2009 by myself with my 130-pound dog. It's isolated. People hitchhiked to get from A to B. That's the problem. Oh, man. 40-plus women missing or murdered on that highway over a few decades. That's crazy. There's a short video of Emily's memorial service. I don't know if it'll let me click the link. All right, I'll check it. I'll see if we can pull it up, or I'll work on getting it. Excuse me. We set out to find the root causes of these disappearances and homicides. Let me see. Okay. So this says Gloria Moody, age 27, from Williams Lake, and it was a homicide. Last seen alive October of 1969. disappeared while taking a weekend trip to Williams Lake, British Columbia on October 25, 1969. Her body was found approximately 10 kilometers west of Williams Lake in British Columbia. I have to keep clicking back. There's a killer on the road. I had to say that in the song. I love the Doors. 150 or 1,500 kilometers north of me. Oh, wow. Okay, last seen 1970. The body of Michelle Pear, 18, was found on August 8th, 1970, near Hudson's Hope, British Columbia, and it was a homicide. Michelle Pear, age 18. In Farrell Creek. Gail Ways was a homicide, last seen October of 1973. Remains found in April of 1974. Vanished on October 19th, 1973. Traveling from Clearwater to Kamloops, British Columbia. Her body was found on October 6th, 1974, about 11 kilometers south of Clearwater, British Columbia. On September 25th, 2012, Royal Canadian Mounted Police said U.S. convict Bobby Jack Fowler is considered a strong suspect in Way's death. Pamela Darlington. Remains were located November of 1973. Pamela Darlington was 19 and she disappeared November 6th of 1973. The young woman told friends she planned to hitchhike to a nearby bar. Her body was found the next day at Pioneer Park, British Columbia. On September 2012, Bobby Jack Fowler is considered a strong suspect. That was in Kamloops. Colleen Magmalin, age 16. She was last seen alive August of 1974, and her remains were found in September of 1974. She was 16 when she disappeared when hitchhiking along 97 near Lac La Hatche, British Columbia, 1974. She was found deceased off a logging road 46 kilometers south of where she was last seen. And then Bobby Jack Fowler, his DNA was found on her body, and it was considered a homicide. Yeah, The Killing Fields is a good memory. I mean, a good, not a good memory, a good movie, sorry. I was reading her comment in memory. Monica Ignis, last seen alive in December of 1974. Her remains were found April of 1975. She was a 14-year-old student, and she disappeared on December 13th of 1974. Her body was found in April of 1975, about 6 kilometers outside of Terrence, British Columbia, and it was a homicide. 14 damn years old. God almighty. Trying to mute the music so we don't get in trouble. Monica Jack disappeared May 6th of 1978 and remains were located in 1995. Monica Jack was 12 when she disappeared. She was biking from Merritt to Nicola Lake along Highway 5 in May of 1978. Her remains were found in June of 1995 near Swacum Mountain, British Columbia. Homicide. Often based on Indigenous names, which are very hard to pronounce. Oh, that's okay. Not that I know of, Anders. That's crazy. She was 12 years old. Jesus. Maureen Moyes remains were found in May of 1981. She was 33, disappeared while hitchhiking on Highway 1 en route to Kamloops on May 8th of 1981. Her body was found on Highway 97 about 16 kilometers east of Kamloops, British Columbia, and it was a homicide. Shelley Ann Bascu disappeared in 1983. She was 16, traveling along Highway 16 in Hinton when she disappeared on May 3rd, 1983. She's a missing person to this day. She was 16. Alberta Williams was 24. She was her body was located in September of 1989. September 25th of 1989. She was found about 37 kilometers east of Prince Rupert, British Columbia, near Tai Overpass. She had been strangled and sexually assaulted. It was a homicide. Delphine Nikkei was 15. Last seen June of 1990. Delphine vanished June 13th, 1990. The 15-year-old teenager was hitchhiking east from the town of Smithers, British Columbia. She's a missing person. Or was a missing. No, she's still missing. Ramona Wilson. Last seen alive June of 1994. Body located April of 1995. She was 16 and found near Smithers Airport. It was a homicide. Roxanne Tiara disappeared in July of 1994. Her body was found 6 kilometers outside of Byrne Lakes on August 17th, 1994. It was a homicide. Alberta, thank you. Alshia Germain was 15. She disappeared in December of 1994. She was last seen at a Christmas dinner at the Native Friendship Center in Prince George. Her body was found near Highway 16. It was a homicide. Lana Derrick was 19, vanished October 7th, 1955, and she was heading east to her home in Hazelton, British Columbia. She's still missing. I'm just trying to mute this music. Nicole Hoare of Red Deer, Alberta, disappeared June 21st of 2002. The tree planter, then aged 25, vanished while hitchhiking along Highway 16 west of Prince George. She's still missing. Tamara Chip was last seen September of 2005. She disappeared September 21st, 2005 while hitchhiking on Highway 16 near Prince Rupert, British Columbia. Yeah. Yeah, they say at any given time that there's several serial killers traveling the highways, like long-haul truck drivers and things. Alea Sariak Auger her body was found in February of 2006 after she went missing February 2nd. A motorist found her in a ditch on Highway 16 near Tabor Mountain, nearly 20 kilometers east of Prince George. She was 14. Lord, I hope we can get done with this music now. Nope.
British Columbia, the westernmost province of Canada, bordering with Alaska, the Yukon, the Northwest Territories, and Alberta. The largest city is Vancouver, with an estimated population of over 2.3 million, ranking it the second largest city in the Pacific Northwest. Prince George, known as the Gateway to the North, has a population of over 84,000. It's the fourth largest city in the province.
I'm going to turn on closed captions for some of this. I might have to read it. For the last 40 years, women have been disappearing and turning up murdered along the Highway of Tears.
Into a 724-kilometer stretch of road from Prince George to Prince Rupert.
It's a 724-kilometer stretch of road that goes from Prince George to Prince Rupert. Infamous.
Series of murders and the harsh injustices that could also span the same figurative distance.
It's infamous for the homicides and the harsh injustices.
The North is dominated by industries focusing on its vast natural resources like the forestry, mining, fishing, energy, and agricultural sectors.
So I'm assuming there's a lot of agriculture and industry there, but from the look of this house, not the best place to live. Targeted because they are poor and vulnerable. Also, news that police are interested. Gabby Petito was blonde and beautiful, so they get more attention. Yeah.
While economic growth is strong, the division of wealth sharing still isn't in place, forcing much of the smaller communities to live below the poverty level with an unemployment rate as high as 92% in some First Nations reservations.
92% of people in some First Nation reservations are unemployed. Oh my gosh. That's not acceptable.
Highway of Tears is the nucleus of a much larger problem on how the Indigenous population has been treated since colonialism. These murders aren't just the work of serial killers, but the sad result of systemic and socioeconomic issues that have plagued the First Nations communities for generations.
It's such a vast area geographically, and that's a concern for us as well, because we have a number of people who look at that as a crime of opportunity. They might not be leaving that day thinking that they're going to find someone and hurt them, but it's that mental thought that nobody would ever know what happened to this individual, you know. So
Well, it looks like there's a lot of back roads there and places to hide easily. Yeah, it's beautiful out there, but lots of places to hide.
many different places for them to hide, so many different places for them to get rid of the evidence.
A lot of road, a lot of country, and for every kilometer of paved road that you see, there's probably 1,000 kilometers of gravel road that would align with that. So it's this massive, massive country.
Wow.
The basic point is that it is not just one murder, it's there are serial murders, and also people who are very opportunistic and copycats. So there are women who are still going missing and still being murdered on the highway.
But, I mean, do you guys think that, you know, I mean, a lot of this stuff started in, like, the damn 70s. Do we think that, I'll start a poll, but do you think it could be the same person to this day that's still killing people from the 70s? I'll pull a poll up in just a second when I can access my live. But I'm wondering if it's just the road necessarily. It's going from place to place such a long distance that it makes it an easy target for things like that.
You know, believe it or not, even though, you know, there's been lots of media, I guess, relatively speaking, around the Highway of Tears, there's lots of people that don't know what that is, you know, that aren't aware of what that situation is about, or, you know, any of the information around that.
Well, the Highway of Tears really, you know, a lot of the
First Nations women and why it's gotten so much notice stems from the 1990s when a lot of the young Aboriginal women went missing, and one of those women, actually she was a teen, it was my cousin Ramona Wilson.
So here we're going to learn about Ramona. Hey Tom, good to see you. Blanket statement. Copycats.
When we really became aware of it was when it touched our family personally. So when my first cousin, Ramona Wilson, went missing, that was sort of the first thing. We'd always heard about things on TV, you know, but never really realizing how that would impact us until it happened to our family.
The information about the Highway of Tears really came out especially in 2002 when Nicole Hoare went missing.
You know, she knew better than to hitchhike, and she went ahead and did it anyway. And she just wanted to get there faster than public transit would get her, and so she made a bad mistake.
Oh my God. That was the 25-year-old in 2002. It attracts killers kind of like the Golden Gate Bridge that people flock to for unaliving. Known killing highway area. Yeah, I could see that. I know, right? Like, goodness gracious, Dad.
Previous to that, there were a lot of Aboriginal women and girls who'd gone missing and been murdered. But I think when Nicole Hoare, who was a smiling, happy-looking young woman in the pictures that were in the media, it really hit home for a lot of people.
What? I got a problem with that. Why did it take that? I mean, what about all the Aboriginal women? Like, why did that not matter? Why did it take all the way to 2002 for it to matter? That's a big freaking problem for me.
And all the news media picked up on this, and really the word got out.
She was last seen hitchhiking on Highway 16 on June 21st.
I should look at the Ladybird Lake. Oh, I've heard about that. Hey, Stolen, good to see you. And unfortunately, public transportation is scarce and the only during certain hours. Oh, wow. That's sad.
With Nicole's disappearance, the term Highway of Tears became increasingly known and widely used. Of most importance, the media and general public finally took notice that her disappearance was not an isolated incident.
What? It's been happening since 1973, and it took to 2002 to realize that something's wrong here. That's a big problem. Sorry if I was so far away. That's a really big problem.
I think for our communities it was frustrating because, there was a number of missing Aboriginal women that were already missing.
Indigenous women and girls had gone missing for some time. They felt without adequate attention, and then a young white woman went missing, and there was a lot of press attention, and suddenly this was something in the spotlight.
That's a problem. Why did it take that to get it in the spotlight? That's a form of racism. I don't like that. Oh, good gracious.
Number of missing Aboriginal women that were already missing.
Indigenous women and girls had gone missing for some time. They felt without adequate attention, and then a young white woman went missing, and there was a lot of press attention, and suddenly this was something in the spotlight.
It's a bigger issue than just Nicole. It's our Aboriginal communities that have been searching for our own and really trying to, get some justice.
These folks have been victimized twice. Once when their daughters, their sisters, their mothers have gone missing. And then a second time when the justice system has utterly failed them in the pursuit of the justice they so rightly deserve. There can be no solutions until we get to the truth and the heart of the matter. That this is a complex issue the sources of this violence against Aboriginal.
It says we want an inquiry, honor our missing and murdered. If it's been going on since 1973 and it takes a Caucasian person in 2002 to go missing to get people to look into it, yeah, that's a big effing problem.
Women and girls is complex, but it is no possibility of finding those solutions unless we actually have the truth on the table. And the resistance from this government, time and time again, to have the courage and the leadership to approach this conversation and find that truth is yet a third victimization of these families.
There's a lot of poverty in our communities. There's a lot of unemployment. There's a lot of issues with I guess, the generation of issues that comes with boarding schools, such as Indian residential schools.
And the effects of residential.
Oh, the residential schools were horrendous. It takes a huge case for one of these to get put in the spotlight. Then everyone wants to talk about it. Once that story is gone, we are usually forgotten about again. I'm so sorry. That is just awful. It's like 40 people, I think.
Residential schools is going to carry on probably for a couple of more generations and underlies much of what we're talking about here. It underlies the Highway of Tears and just an obliteration of cultures through many policies over many years.
For nearly 150 years, the mandatory attendance of Aboriginal children aged 7 to 15.
They wouldn't let them dance. They wouldn't let them sing. They would cut their hair. You see, it's run by nuns.
15 served in removing children from their families in order to kill the Indian in the child and assimilate Aboriginal youth into mainstream European Canadian culture.
Oh my God. What? Is that, we got our Aboriginal children wearing fucking kilts and shit? Like, that's not their culture. Why are you forcing them to wear that if you are? But not letting them wear their own culture. Look at that. Little nuns. Oh my God. I'm going to get mad. They wouldn't let them have their culture, and it was forced, y'all. Oh my
In these
God.
buildings, young Aboriginal children had their characters redesigned to
Yeah.
fit the European model. They were not allowed to speak their native language, have any contact with their family, or practice any aspect of their culture. It took nearly 10 years for the government to partner with numerous Aboriginal organizations to begin efforts of reconciliation and provide counseling to survivors of the residential school program. This was launched in 2007, followed by a formal apology from Prime Minister Harper in 2008.
In the 1870s, the federal government.
I have to pause it occasionally. Yeah, they operated till the 90s in the States, yeah. Those schools were awful.
Partly in order to meet its obligations to educate Aboriginal children, began to play a role in the development and administration of these schools. Two primary objectives of the residential school system were to remove and isolate children from the influence of their home, families, traditions, and cultures, and to assimilate them into the dominant culture. The Government of Canada built an educational system in which very young children were often forcibly removed from their homes, often taken far from their communities.
That is sick. That is sick. Yeah, good for you, spirits, and bless you.
Many were inadequately fed,
Oh my
clothed,
God.
and housed. All were deprived of the care and nurturing of their parents, grandparents, and communities. To the approximately 80,000 living former students and all family members and communities, the Government of Canada now recognizes that it was wrong to forcibly remove children from their homes, and we apologize for having done this.
Within the residential school system, RCMP officers were essentially the truant officers.
Like when we went to residential, or people were going to residential school, the RCMP were the ones that came and got the kids if we hid them. And in our language, we call the RCMP nischakin, and that means the people who take us away.
That's really sad. You know they're not letting them talk to their parents. Many died away from their families who didn't know what happened to their children. That's really sad.
We conducted 5 weeks of field research in northern British Columbia just to get a full sense of the relationship between the RCMP and Indigenous women and girls in northern BC. We found that a number of women and girls had experienced a range of mistreatment, and that went all the way from inappropriate searches of women and girls by male officers, all the way up to physical assault, including beatings in cells, as well as sexual assault and rape.
Many of our people, you have to remember, don't trust the RCMP. So that's first and foremost, is that they have to try somehow to build some trust within the community.
I don't think that.
I wonder if this goes back to, I mean, I know we mentioned it briefly with Jack and Lily, but with their mother Malaya, and leaving with her mother, the grandmother, in the Jack and Lily case, and not really talking to the RCMP, I wonder if it stems back to this, not trusting the RCMP because of so many things that happened so long ago.
First Nations in general think that the RCMP are someone that they can go to for help. I think they've always been seen as perpetrators against our people.
We found that the levels of fear of retaliation by police for sharing information about what had happened were extremely high, about on par with situations that we had previously seen in conflict or post-conflict societies where the state authorities themselves have been involved in abuses.
I said to the RCMP, I said, what about those 2 men in Saskatoon or the natives that they took out and froze? Oh, that wasn't RCMP, that was Saskatoon police. I said, you guys are supposed to be peace officers, not beat officers. As I wrote, they did get punished for their wrongdoing. They got 6 months off with pay. If you went and killed somebody, you get paid for it? Bullshit.
Those things have really impacted the family structure for Aboriginal people, for First Nations people across this land. And as a result of that, that's impacted the very core of who we are as people and how we feel about ourselves.
There's whole courses on it about the stereotypes of women, First Nations women as squaws, First Nations women as whores.
What? I don't want to get political, but I'm really trying not to get political, so we're doing good so far. This is crazy. That does nothing to help the damage it caused and still causes today and the families. Yeah. I think it's a little too late for that.
And really portrayed as bad women and women not worth anything.
There's things in the media that, written, there's things in movies where we were easy. There's all of these things that our life was not important.
There was a popular song, and it was a hit in 1958, and it was called Squaws Along the Yukon. And those are the types of songs that were hit songs in Canada. Squaws Along the Yukon are good enough for me.
There's a salmon-colored girl who sets my heart a whirl, who lives along the Yukon far away. With the northern lights a-shine, she rubs her nose to mine. She cuddles close and I can hear her say,
it might cut me off. This is probably going to be a bad song.
Ooga ooga mushka, which means that I love you. If you will be my baby, I'll ooga ooga mushka you. Finna take her hand in mine and set her on by me. Squaws along the Yukon are good enough for me.
It's really about establishing that trust and respect. So you look at, for example, the Ramsey case, right? Judge Ramsey. I mean, how many girls were victimized by the judge?
I think the Ramsey case is extremely important in understanding the context for the Highway of Tears. It's really hard to underestimate what it does to a community's faith in the justice system when you find out that a sitting judge has been sexually exploiting girls, children in the community for a long time with impunity.
Question, who polices the police? Who judges the judges? We all know who I'm talking about. Judge Ramsey. Those working girls up there were telling me what Judge Ramsey was doing.
Yeah, that political people, hey Max, that happens more often than people like to think it does, especially people high up in power, unfortunately, in my opinion.
They're 12-14.
Judge David Ramsey was sent to prison for sexually assaulting and buying sex from girls as young as 12.
Oh my God.
Ramsey was sentenced to a mere 7 years for sexually assaulting the teens. He was due for statutory release on January 30th, 2009, only 2/3 into his sentence. But he never got out of prison.
Judge Ramsey got something better. He got terminal cancer, he's dead. We all have to answer to someone bigger than our so-called justice system, the big guy in the sky. So who do we trust, from the police to the judges to the bullshit?
And I'll tell you this right now, since the Ramsey cases occurred, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed within the justice system, nothing has changed in the RCMP to ensure that a Ramsey case never happens again. So obviously, like if a young woman is feeling victimized, you know, who is she going to trust to go to?
The most
Yeah, Satan come calling for Judge Ramsey.
striking thing to me when we were doing the research in northern BC was the sense of insecurity that women and girls, Indigenous women and girls, felt
Oh my
in
God.
their communities.
First Nations women experience violence for longer periods of time and more extreme forms of violence. They're more often likely to have a gun held to their head or a knife, being threatened with a knife or threatened with some kind of a weapon.
I had an experience when I hitchhiked. I had to get, he tried to grab me. That was really scary. He tried to grab me after, and he tried to push me over while he was driving. While the truck was still going, I jumped out.
I come from a family that was not only...
Okay, I'm gonna have to like skip through kind of some of this. Yeah, this is really sad. Well, the thing is, I'm gonna try to kind of skip through a little bit of this to go back to the homicides, because I don't want to get political too much. So I think we need to go to where they talk about the Trail of Tears. I think it starts about right here. Plus, I don't want to get struck, so we're gonna skip to right here. I'm going to drop the link, though, to the video so you can all watch it if you want to.
It was because I had no money, right? You wouldn't put yourself in a position of danger if you had money. Especially early on, when they didn't have the education about hitchhiking. Hitchhiking was an acceptable form of transportation, especially, like you said, if you didn't have the employment or the funds, they'll have your own resources to get your own transportation. Stick out your thumb.
So now they're back to, you know, people being broke and needing to get transportation. Hey, Kate.
And I believe me as a parent, I have the right and I have the tools now, and it's up to me to keep my daughter's memory alive. That way I stand a better chance of finding out what happened to my daughter before it's too late here in this world.
My name is Brenda June Wilson, and I'm the sister of Ramona Lisa Wilson, who was murdered in 1994, June 11th. Her body was found outside the Smithers Airport by a couple of people that were 4x4ing. They got stuck. They went to look for some wood to get them out of the mud, and they came upon my sister's remains.
Ramona, she was such a young girl, you know, she was 15, you know, she had her life ahead of her.
I'm muted. Thank you for being here, Eddie. This is really sad.
And since she went missing, and since we found her body a year later in 1995, you know, we really saw, well, personally, I saw how much effect that would have on a parent. And I really saw it in my aunt, you know, my Aunt Matilda. And you see how much it's changed her. And it's quite, you know, it's devastating.
Terry's always been really affected. His whole family has been. We also went together to see a documentary called Finding Dawn. And during that documentary, he broke down in a way I've never seen him break down before, and just sobbed and sobbed with his head in his hands. And so at that moment, I truly realized how devastating a loved one to go missing and never found it does to a family.
I think people are...
Yeah, to go missing and never have that closure would be unbearable. They don't get enough coverage.
Really need to know that Ramona was not expendable. Like, Ramona was just not a street person or whatever the media kind of portrays, or what society thinks, that these were like prostitutes, they were druggies, they were whatever, like as if that made their life any less worthy.
If you talk with communities in the North, as we did, you hear about families that have daughters, sisters, etc., move from the North where they didn't have much economic or educational opportunity to Vancouver, or in some cases to Prince George, and then only to find that their safety was at risk there.
We saw as well, we can't ignore the fact that what happened on the pig farm in Port Coquitlam. And in that case, again, the women were just treated like they were throwaway.
The pig farmer that killed 49, I think I've heard something about that. I will.
Pikton solicited prostitutes from the downtown east side and drove them out to his pig farm in Port Coquitlam, a suburb of Vancouver. For years, his murders went unnoticed to law enforcement, even after several families reported their loved ones missing.
Oh my God.
Pikton.
It says British Columbia police investigating the disappearances of 50 women have laid first-degree murder charges against one of the owners of Port something pig farm. Robert Pikton was arrested Friday night and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Yeah, I've heard stories about that, like the pigs will eat everything. I'll try to grab your link so I can drop your channel. Very scary. I'm so sorry, Max.
Pikton was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. The list began to grow as DNA of 33 women were found on his farm.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, wow. Hold on.
Of Vancouver. For years, his murders went unnoticed to law enforcement, even after several families reported their loved ones missing. Pikton was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. The list began to grow as DNA of 33 women were found on his farm.
Look at how stained that floor is. Like, my God. My God. Jesus.
He bragged to police that he killed as many as 49. The media covered the case and heavily portrayed the women as high-risk prostitutes and drug users from Vancouver's downtown east side, not as daughters, mothers, or loved family members. Families of the missing and murdered women had been pushing for public hearings prior to serial killer Robert Pikton's conviction of 6 murders. They were angered and wanted answers for their family members' deaths.
There's no... What? I mean, I didn't know about all this. Like, this is insane. I'm going to have to pull some info. I don't know if I can because it's out of freaking Canada. I'm going to try to see what I can pull on Robert Pikton. That is insane. Hold on.
No questions about that first murdered missing women's task force. It's been lifted and it's been put underneath the carpet. I want to see accountability. You know, I want to know what's going to be done about the first murdered missing women's task force. Are they going to be investigated? And if not, why?
Why had all these women gone missing from the downtown east side of Vancouver, and why did it take so long for them to identify and arrest and then subsequently prosecute Robert Pikton, who was responsible for so many of those murders?
Finally, in September of 2010, a missing women's inquiry headed by Commissioner Wally Opal was initiated to examine the role of the Vancouver Police and the RCMP in the disappearances and murders of women in the downtown east side.
Bad girl, let me know where you put it at on Discord. Let me write that down. Pikton. Anything, everything. Like, I don't know if you can, I'm gonna see what news reports and things I can find, but like any government information that I can pull, photos, videos, interrogations. I mean, but it can't already be on the internet. I'm gonna be looking more so for government documents, but I don't know if you can get them either from up there. Let me try to grab your link too, Stolen. Yeah, let me know, bad girl, where you put it at on Discord.
Is it acceptable that we allowed our most vulnerable to disappear, to be murdered? The question is upsetting. It challenges our fundamental values.
Commissioner Wally Opal concluded that the RCMP did not conduct their investigations properly.
Oh my God. Is this your page? Let me see. Stolen MMIWG. Yes. I am subscribed. Okay. I thought I was. Let me share this real quick. Maybe. Like what? Okay, I'm going to share this video so that you guys can subscribe to her. She said she just got a lot of information on this stuff. Okay, that's her link right there. Make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't.
The Pikton investigation and trial ended up costing taxpayers and the Canadian government over $100 million.
Okay, thank you.
How was he able to murder so many women without anyone taking notice?
Yeah, like
Too
for
slow.
real though.
RCMP too slow.
Okay.
Just like that Pikton. That whole deal down there.
It'd be much better if we recognize the victims and from their point of view understand why that happened and how to not let that continue. And media across the board would be just if there was more highlight on the victims.
There was a definite difference between the missing women with the Aboriginal community versus general society with non-First Nations women.
I think that the media, they have a lot of power and they pick and choose the issues that they want to place their focus on. They could have covered Pikton or the Highway of Tears long before they chose to. Why they didn't, I don't know.
That. Oh my God. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for being part of. Our friends page has reached its 5,000 limit, but the group page and business page is open. Okay, cool. We also have a YouTube page that we started not long ago where we give the families a platform to share their voices. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. From the video I saw, it took a new police taking over and the old ones leaving for them to do something to this guy. The first cops knew but were either paid off or scared to do anything. Oh my God. That is crazy. I'm going to look into it.
The victims in our so-called justice system pay a higher price than any of these type of people ever do.
I think one of my biggest experiences is knowing a lot of the women that have gone missing. I've either gone to elementary school with them or I'm related to them. And just knowing them personally is hard. Because when you're sitting there and you're talking with their family, who's a sister or a brother or an aunt or an uncle, and you're there to comfort them and you're trying to keep the strength and yourself together and bring this person up and try to tell them that it's okay when it's not. You know, like, how do you? You don't.
That's really sad. Sorry.
Never, really. These things don't go away, so.
It says homicide victims won't be forgotten. Tears for Justice walkers were joined on their walk in Thunder Bay.
I think in addressing the Highway of Tears more broadly, though, what we have to think about is it shouldn't matter whether you're part of a task force or not. If someone calls and reports someone missing, you need to know that immediately that case is going to be taken seriously and is going to be pursued with the full effort of the RCMP.
What the problem is, they don't, when the people phone in for their loved ones that are missing, the police or whoever, they don't take it seriously. They just don't take it seriously. I don't know what you have to do to be taken serious. I think the only time you're taken seriously is when someone is murdered.
So the homicide of her was committed February 2nd of 2006. Okay. This is Max's channel. If you guys want to check the Resident Evil AMC out and subscribe to them, I just dropped their link as well. Aaliyah Auger, who's 14, was murdered February 2nd of 2006.
The body of 14-year-old Ayla Sarik Oje was discovered on a Friday afternoon in February of 2006. A passing motorist spotted her remains in a ditch a few miles east of Prince George by Tabor Mountain on Highway 16.
You're welcome.
and that investigation is still ongoing. We do not have a suspect at this time that's being held accountable for her murder, and so we're still receiving tips to this day on her disappearance.
When her body was found, the family had come to us, her mom had come to us and asked if we would be willing to go out there and to do ceremony in the place where her body was located. You know, I remember getting to the spot and just how very challenging that was to know that this was the place where this young lady, you know, just full of life and, you know, excited about life and somebody who liked.
She was so young. Like, they're so young. New Mexico, South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, Arizona, Canada, just those places alone keep me extremely busy. It's so sad. It really is. And there's not enough coverage of it, in my opinion, in my humble opinion.
Hannah, Montana, for heaven's sakes, you know. And so as we were going down the embankment to go to the place where she was, I had brought my hand drum and drummed our way down there.
When the young woman, Ayla Auger, had passed away, that was enough for us. We said enough, that something had to be done.
I felt that part of my responsibility as an elected Aboriginal leader within this community was to bring attention to the subject matter.
At the same time, Rena Zatorsky and Lately, you know, she was at the same, you know, she was upset as well. The Lately Nation were upset. So we already had planned on doing something. And so Rena came together and we all joined forces to have the symposium.
I released a news release asking for interest in a symposium to talk about the issues surrounding missing and murdered Aboriginal women specifically. And we organized it in about a month's time.
So this letter is written March 3rd of 2006. Thank you guys for subscribing to The Resident. That was really sweet of y'all.
The 2006 Highway of Tears Symposium was an important moment for advocacy around the Highway of Tears cases because it allowed the community to come together to discuss exactly what had been happening and what a plan would look like to address the murders and disappearances.
That created that sort of critical mass for the community to really understand, hey, these aren't vulnerable women necessarily going missing, for instance, sex workers and drug-addicted women. This is happening to women of varying lifestyles and socioeconomic statuses.
I believe...
I mean, just because somebody is on substances and is a lady of the night, it shouldn't matter regardless. That stigma needs to be gone too. But yeah, a 12 or 14-year-old disappearing and being murdered, yeah, that's a big effing problem. Oh, really? Well, thank you. I appreciate what you do as well. And I appreciate Abellis for suggesting this. I hate to keep having to pause it. I'm just trying not to get struck or anything.
That the police actually started taking seriously the issues of missing and murdered women along the corridor seriously after the symposium. I think that the public really had to put pressure on them and essentially embarrass them to step up to the plate and take the issue seriously and start looking.
That is really sad that they had to be basically called out in the public and embarrassed to take a stand.
Looking at what was happening, what's going on.
There were over 500 people there in attendance, including family members, RCMP, bigwigs with the provincial government.
There were about 92 organizations represented there. So to me, that really showed that this was an issue that was being taken seriously from the community itself. The police is a totally different story, but the community itself was extremely interested in the issue and wanted to talk about it. And
look at the baby. Oh my goodness. Look at the baby. I like close down. I keep getting TikTok is really, I mean, it's worse than YouTube. It is disgusting. It's way worse than YouTube, from what I've heard.
Bring some awareness and solve some of the surrounding issues.
So when we had asked the questions to the families as to what could have been done, what could have the RCMP done better, what could have victim services done better, what could society have done better, and all the families went and answered that question, all the First Nation families. The last one that spoke was Jack Hoare, and we asked him the same questions.
And at the symposium, we probably had 3 or 4 families talk about their experiences prior to ourselves getting up, and in all cases it was the direct opposite of what we had experienced. So, and I did comment that it was not embarrassing, but very unsettling to see how we were treated versus the reaction that the other families had received.
He said when
So even Nicole Hoare's parents and family feels bad because they got so much more attention than the other girls did. I used to be racist. What? My neighbor once said I used to be racist. Meanwhile, she asked an African Canadian travel agent if there was black people in the Dominican Republic. Oh my God. Aw. I hope your mother has a nice birthday, resident.
he went, him and his wife Betty went and reported their daughter missing, the RCMP were so helpful and so concerned. They were right on top of the case right away.
And I think that really shows that, there definitely was that systemic racism that we keep referring to.
Certainly some of the police officers that we spoke with during our research talked about there being a very different attitude after the Nicole Hoare case, a very different attitude towards the murders and disappearances, then they were taken much more seriously, and that before that they hadn't received nearly the attention that they were due.
I think, unfortunately, there were a lot of recommendations that came out of the Highway of Tears symposium that haven't been worked on or galvanized.
That a shuttle bus transportation system be established between each town and city located along the entire length of Highway 16, defined as the Highway of Tears.
So that would keep people from having to hitchhike it and make public transportation more readily available for safety.
That the number, types, and frequency of essential health and social services be increased for direct delivery to the First Nations communities located along the Highway of Tears. That the RCMP continue its official investigation or inquiry into the Aboriginal community's assertions on the actual number of missing women.
So I'm assuming they're thinking there's more than what's been reported.
I think that's one of the main frustrations about the 33 recommendations, that there's
I wasn't laughing at that. I was laughing at the comment, just to put that out there. I didn't want y'all to think I was laughing at what I said. I was reading a comment and laughing.
virtually no money available to put into place any of the recommendations.
There has been no commitment from the provincial or federal governments to fund it. And it's always been a challenge to really implement those recommendations, which promote a lot of prevention.
So they don't have money to set up prevention of the things like this happening. Wow.
And so what has changed since 2006 is there is the EPANA group, and they're the group of investigators. So they do updates for the direct families of the victims.
I'm Gary Shinkarik. I'm with the RCMP. I'm an inspector. I'm the officer in charge of the EPANA investigation, which is commonly referred to as the Highway of Tears. Although I'll mention the Highway of Tears in general deals with so many other social economic issues, and EPANA really is focusing on the specific murdered and missing women from northern BC.
Project E-PANA began in the fall of 2005 under the E Division Criminal Operations with the task of reviewing and investigating the unsolved cases, with links to highways 97, 5, and 16. The task force took ownership of 9 investigations in 2006. In 2007, the cases doubled from 9 to 18. Project E-PANA consists of 13 homicide investigations and 5 missing peoples investigations. Some of the cases date as far back as 1969. The actual number of missing and murdered women in northern British Columbia is unknown.
That's really sad. We should know how many are missing and murdered along the Trail of Tears. I mean,
The E-PANA
Highway of Tears, I apologize.
investigation number focuses on 18, but the number is argued to be higher than 40.
Yeah.
Canada-wide, over 600 Aboriginal women have been reported missing and/or murdered.
Oh my God.
The majority of these cases have been nothing short of neglected.
This is Teresa Humphrey from Valentine's Day. She was murdered 1993. She was 38.
There's so many other women missing that were not.
This is her sister.
Not included. One of them was my sister Teresa Humphrey. My sister was murdered here in Prince George 18 years ago. She must have been intoxicated to have been thrown out of the place where she left, and then she got picked up by a truck.
I guarantee you, in my opinion, that's why they're not met. They don't care. They don't care, in my opinion. You hear that? She was intoxicated and got thrown out of a bar and then took a ride in a truck and now she's dead. Nobody cares because she was intoxicated and got thrown out of a bar, in my opinion. 80 plus victims on the Highway of Tears. Wow. Hey, Hannah. That's so sad.
He took her way out in a logging road. The police had told us that she was dragged. The guy dragged her in a truck, and that we were not allowed to see her when we went to the funeral because she was not recognizable.
My God. The man dragged her behind the fucking truck, and we still don't know. We haven't solved this crime.
And right about the same time before that happened, the same man was picked up for Marnie Blanchard. She was also looking for a ride.
So Marnie Blanchard was picked up by the same person who did this to her sister.
So this guy gave her a ride, and he was picked up by them for her, but they didn't have enough evidence, so they let him go. So when they let him go, that's when he killed my sister.
Okay, why can't we hold him? If you think you've got enough evidence on this person for Marnie, why did we then let him go and now he's committed another homicide? That's awful brazen. He really felt like that he could just walk out of there and do whatever the hell he wanted, and obviously he did. Like, that's real brazen to be picked up for a homicide that you more than likely committed, be released, and you're so ballsy you go and do it again. What even is going on here?
Brian Arp was arrested a second time following the discovery of Teresa Humphrey's body, posed atop a snowbank 50 kilometers southwest of the city. Police used DNA collected from a cigarette butt taken from Arp's interrogation to link him to the murders of Marnie Blanchard and Teresa Humphrey.
A little Lisa Tate. just a little bugger like this, eh? Shaking like a leaf. She was born a crack baby. They had to put a pacemaker in her at birth. Her mother couldn't stay off the garbage long enough to have that kid. She said, if I tell you something, will you promise not to say anything? I said, well, no. She tells me some of these bodies are going down the Skeena River. I called one of those bonehead cops over. I said, I got something to tell you guys. This is what Lisa Tate just told me. Did you tell the guys downtown? I said, I'm telling you. I'm on Ankle Express. Boneheads. Jesus. So they come over. I said, you know, I'm really getting sick and tired of telling the same story. Write it down.
Murdered November 27th of 2011, 15-year-old Lauren Leslie. And then she's talking about they're sending their bodies down the river. I know several cases, including my own cousin, that 25 years ago or more, cases have had the murder weapon or DNA, and it was all just put away and ignored. Oh my God. These same families are starting to speak out today. Conveniently, all the evidence is no longer around. Oh my God. That is insane. What the hell is going on?
Actually, I was at a mine Christmas party that night, and I was by myself and at 8 o'clock at night, I just didn't feel like being there anymore for whatever reason. I went home. And then at midnight...
I apologize, and I'm sorry about your cousin. I'm so sorry about your cousin. That's really sad. So your cousin's case is open and hasn't been solved, stolen? Hey, Norma, good to see you.
I got a call from the RCMP asking if Lauren was home. And I said, no, she's staying with her mother. And I said, what's going on? And they said, well, they stopped somebody on the highway towards Fort St. James. And if Lauren's home, then somebody's using her ID because they found it in this person's vehicle. I waited about an hour. And then I called dispatch and I asked them, I said, I told them what was going on. And they were going to get somebody back to me right away. And that didn't happen for another hour. So I figured I'd just drive up until I saw cops. So I drove up to the site. And then when I got there, the game warden was standing there just white as a ghost. And I told them who I was and that I wanted to know what was going on. And they said they were investigating a homicide and nobody could go up there. And so I knew what was going on then.
We can announce today that...
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I need to listen to that one more time. So was he not aware that his daughter was missing and then was told when they found her ID? I apologize. I need to hear that again.
Actually, I was at a mine Christmas party that night, and I was by myself and at 8 o'clock at night, I just didn't feel like being there anymore for whatever reason. I went home. And then at midnight, I got a call from the RCMP asking if Lauren was home. And I said, no, she's staying with her mother. And I said, what's going on?
Okay, so she was staying with her mother, and he wasn't aware that I guess she was missing. My cousin's case finally got solved a couple years ago, but that was because a friend of mine, I won't say his name, I wouldn't, was able to solve it. But the murderer has not seen a jail cell to this day. That is so sad. I am so sorry. I'm glad that your friend was able to solve it, but this person that did it needs to be in jail. Like, what even is going on there?
They said, well, they stopped somebody on the highway towards Fort St. James, and if Lauren's home, then somebody's using her ID because they found it in this person's vehicle. I waited about an hour, and then I called dispatch and I asked them, I said, I told them what was going on, and they were going to get somebody back to me right away, and that didn't happen for another hour, so I figured I'd just drive up until I saw cops. So I drove up to the site, and then when I got there, the game warden was standing there just white as a ghost. And I told them who I was and that I wanted to know what was going on, and they said they were investigating a homicide and nobody could go up there, and so I knew what was going on then.
We can announce today that...
Oh, and I mean, why wasn't better care taken with the parent of this child?
3 counts of first-degree murder have been laid against 21-year-old Cody Allen Lejabakov.
She described Cody's truck. She described him. She's from Vander.
A portrait of an alleged young serial killer operating in Prince George is emerging tonight. This morning, police revealed that Kode Lejabakov is accused in the murders of 3 women and 1 teenage girl.
She was right on the money. Who his truck is him.
Lejabakov was arrested the night of November 27, 2010, when an RCMP officer stopped a suspicious truck pulling onto Highway 16 from an unused logging road.
Hold on a minute. I'm trying to write down information so I can try to see what I can pull on this with maybe the help of Abellis. Norma, you two what? Okay, Max, have a good day, honey.
Lejabakov's tracks were retraced along the snowy trail to find the body of 15-year-old Lauren Dawn Leslie.
Oh my gosh.
Just hours after she had been murdered. Lejabakov is now linked to the murders of 35-year-olds Jill Stuchenko, Cynthia Moss, and an alleged 4th victim, 23-year-old Natasha Montgomery, whose body is yet to be found.
My daughter definitely was a people person, and she, you know, liked a lot of different people, and I could see her being very trusting, right? And, you know, what do you do now?
She was so pretty. They all were.
They say it gets easier over time. I mean, it's easier as in now I could
Love you
have
too,
a
sweetheart.
conversation without breaking down. But I mean, I still break down, right? Like I still, you know, find it, I guess, a little bit easier to talk about, but it's still not easy. It's just a day-by-day thing is what it is.
The funeral, I had to explain an empty casket. And because Lauren was supposed to be back on a Thursday, the funeral was set for Saturday, and she was, then they had asked permission for her to go to Pennsylvania for further testing, so we did that, so she wasn't back. So, you know, we carried on anyway.
So I'm hoping that they got, when she got sent to Pennsylvania, that they got the evidence they needed. They were so beautiful with their whole lives ahead of them.
What could have happened? Why did it happen? I mean, there's always that question, why, and why me, and why us, and, you know, like, it's just so unreal. It still is, but it's, you know, I mean, it's real, but it's surreal, and it's, I don't know, they say everything happens for a reason. I don't know what the reason was, but he was stopped.
Madison Scott, last seen May 28th, 2011. She was 20 years old. That was the time period. God, that could have been me.
In the case with Madison Scott, she came from a small community, and that community came together with such huge support. They all knew Madison and her family, and it's a tragic case where you know, she was a vibrant individual, and here she is at a party with friends, and to not come home when she was supposed to and not to contact friends was completely out of her character. And then the grisly discovery, if you will, going back to the Hogsback Lake and finding her truck and her tent still there, but no Madison, that sends chills up any investigator's back.
We're the parents of 20-year-old Madison Scott. Our daughter Maddie was last seen on Saturday, May 28th out at Hogsback Lake, just south of our hometown of Vanderhoof.
Immediately, the information was sent out to the public, and we had our search and rescue team. We had thousands of volunteers come out. We had our police dog services, air services involved, as well as the dive team, because Hogsback Lake had quite a big lake at that location. And still, we have not been able to find what happened to Maddie, and we haven't been able to find Maddie.
Therefore, we would...
She was so pretty too, just camping in her tent. Disappeared.
like to announce that we are offering a reward of up to $15,000 for information leading to the safe return of our daughter, Madison Scott.
People go all over the province and they see posters and they know about it. We have friends on different parts of the province and they all see the posters and they all know what's going on.
I've never seen a community pull together like this community has, and the support both emotionally and financially and everything, because it takes a big effort to do what this family's done. And this family is just really dedicated. Okay, so today the search group for Madison Scott has organized this poker ride. Today the horses are starting from here. Down the road a couple of miles there's quads that are going to go out, and they're starting from a different location, and then there's also a bunch of walkers walking around the ridges of Hogsback Lake, actually in the area where Maddie went missing.
So they still continue to look for her to this day? Oh, you're fine.
Madison joins a list of women and girls who leave their families and communities in shock. With their loved ones gone, they seek answers. The Scott family has been very proactive in raising funds to find their daughter, increasing their reward from $15,000 to $100,000 for any information leading to Madison's discovery.
So that's her that's what they come upon when they were looking for her.
It's just horrible not knowing.
It's not just 18 women. The Highway of Tears is Teresa Humphrey, Marnie Blanchard, Lauren Leslie, Natasha Montgomery, Madison Scott, and many more. They may not fit the criteria of the EPANA investigations, but they do form part of a close geographic area in proximity to the highway that is plagued by a history of sociocultural and socioeconomic issues that put women at risk.
This is June 2012, Ramona Wilson Memorial Walk.
I thank you, Lord, for all these people here. We thank you for everything that you have done for us. Please keep us all safe. Every day, every night, keep us all safe. Amen. Thank you.
My aunt, since Ramona went missing, she's always had the walk. I mean, Ramona's remains were found a year later, but she does it anyways because she says, I was there, I know how it felt not to have that closure, and we still don't know what happened to Ramona, right? So there's still that piece that is left open. However, she does the work that she does because of the families that have not found their loved ones.
It was just a reminder every year that every year has gone by and there's nothing solved with my cousin. And really, I think the idea is to never let this issue die, because as time goes by, you know, a lot of people forget all those things that happened in the past. And I think that's what it's all about, is to always have that constant reminder of the missing women on the Highway of Tears.
Even though we did find Ramona's remains and were able to bury her and put her to rest, we're still unrestful at this time because there's no answers to what happened to her, who her killer is. So there's an urgency.
The thing that I want to say this afternoon is I really want to commend my Auntie Maddie and Brenda.
So this is going over the walk that they do. It seemed, I think weirdly, had a man try to jump in my back seat. The only thing that kept him from doing so was because my brake was on instead of putting it in park. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, bad girl. I'm glad you were okay.
And the family for continuing this walk for 18 years now. It's a thankless job, and she does it because she loved her daughter and also for the concern
Thank goodness.
of all the other missing and murdered women on Highway 16. And again, I'd like to thank you, and God bless you all for being here. Many, many blessings to you for what you do for us and the support that you've shown through so many years. Thank you.
On May 3rd, 2012, the Oregon Department of State Police Forensic Laboratory obtained a CODIS DNA match. The DNA match was for a U.S. citizen, Bobby Jack Fowler, who was born and spent most of his life in the U.S., has an extensive violent and criminal history for crimes including attempted murder, assault with a dangerous weapon, sexual assault, arson, kidnapping, attempting sexual assault, and firearms. While there are many things we do not know,
I'm wondering if with him specifically and all of the homicides they linked back to him, could it have been committed if we communicated across borders in places like this?
we do know that he was transient and traveled between U.S. states and even countries in a day. He frequented bars and restaurants and was violent towards men and women and picked up hitchhikers.
So this is Colleen McMillan, who was 16, and she was last seen August 9th of 1974.
Colleen was a lovely, sweet, innocent 16-year-old kid. And there are still no words in the world to express how terribly she was wronged. It has been a long wait for answers, and although it is a somewhat
She is so cute and so pretty.
unsatisfactory result, because this individual won't have to stand trial for what he did. We are comforted by the fact that he was in prison when he died, and he can't hurt
Hey, Lisa.
anyone else. For those remaining families whose daughters and sisters were also victims, we hope this means they may yet have their own answers. The family requests that the media respect their wish for privacy and to direct any questions to the EPAN investigation team. Thank you.
So often we talk about statistics like the number, there are 582 missing, but each of those women or each of those girls is a devastating loss to a family, is a hole in the heart of a community.
Yeah. It is easy to say, like you say 580 something are missing, but like if you think about, I think 582 missing. If you think about 582 missing and then think about the impact that that's had on their families and communities, the number of people who have been hurt by their disappearances or homicides is astounding.
My sister, I really miss my sister. Anything I did, if I went, I have my own business, she was there for me. When I was driving, she would pour my coffee for me, and she'd help me with everything that I've done. She was always there for me. We were just 1 year apart. She was a mother and my sister, and she was just, she was very loving. She was my best friend, and yeah, we just really miss her, and I still miss her,
Our Christmases, that was our most cherished time. It was because it was the one time that you can see families, mothers in general, really strive to make happen for their children. And it was the one time she really made sure that I had what I needed to
Aw.
show that, you know, I was loved, and that she always wanted to create that family environment because I was an only child. And Christmases were big, and nothing was out of place during Christmas. You know what I mean? And that's the one thing I remember that she was really good at.
Tasha spent 9 years figure skating. She finished her junior bronze. I felt like I lived at the arena. And also her other sport was baseball. She spent, probably longer playing baseball. That definitely was a sport she loved.
Oh, wow.
Swimming. She could swim before she could walk. And she could see underwater, which she couldn't see out of water, but because of the sunlight. And so anyway, we'd dive lots, and I'd throw clams out over the drop. She'd pick them up before they hit the bottom.
Oh, wow.
So that was her favorite. It doesn't just affect the family, it affects the whole community. And from there, it affects, you know, like there's people all over the world that it is affecting. And I have become aware of a lot more children that have been murdered, and met with some of the parents of the children, and it's unbelievable, you know, because before it happened to us, it was just one of those things that happened on TV or you read in the paper, and it's like, you know, a few days, it's a sad thing to see or to hear about, but then you go page 2, page 3, and you forget about it, you know, and that's a normal thing, I guess. But now that it's happened to me, it's opened a whole new book.
Now is the time to heal.
This is really sad.
We have to go forward with our lives and forward with what we have gone through, what we're seeing happen every day. We have to make a change. Try to make a change, not just in our town and our families, but in our province, in our country, and even in the world.
And we've got to just keep people reminded that, you know, they feel that it can't happen here, and it can't happen to me, but it can, and it does. You know, I know that for a fact.
I mean, I think if Nicole Hoare's parents would have known that women were going missing in the north, that they would have certainly cautioned their daughter, and we would have all cautioned our daughters about being careful and vigilant, that, you know, women are being killed in the north.
I really believe the more we have this at the forefront, the more there's knowledge about it, the more that we talk about it, I think there will be prevention of these cases.
Lately, a so-called man beat the hell out of me. He got 2 months. I tried to help this shit. Got evicted. He got 6 months. Another man beat the hell out of my landlord's tree in his drunken stupor amongst the little charges. He got 2 years. I said, well, obviously that tree is more important than me. Oh, well, maybe I'll come back as a willow tree. You can bend me, but you can't break me.
I like her.
The Highway of Tears isn't just about a number. It's about humanity. It's about erasing our history with discrimination and forging a new future with impartial eyes.
What I would like to do is to do an evaluation around the recommendations that have come to pass since 2006, and I do believe that the government of British Columbia would get a fail.
Says Greyhound bus service cuts. British Columbia routes axed in rural communities. So they're getting rid of routes in rural communities instead of putting people there. Putting routes there.
Again, there isn't a coordinated, concerted effort around transportation. We still have the same issues. We still have young women hitchhiking to get to the urban centers.
Clearly, this lack of transportation is exposing women to violence. So it is incumbent upon the government to make transportation accessible, to ensure that women can safely get from point A to point B when they need to get to essential services to conduct, the daily business of life in the North.
Our lives are entangled with the women who've gone missing and been murdered over the years. So it isn't just a matter of one group in our community trying to attack.
I'm glad that they've got the sign up saying, making sure to warn people not to hitchhike. I make dream catchers sometimes. I've made a couple.
This, it's really such an important thing to realize that as a community we need to be doing more.
It's so critical that we talk to our young people, that we have people that are in leadership roles talk about some of those things that are going on.
And I can only hope that whatever happens out of having these type of discussions leads to those answers being questions that could put families at ease about the situation. Like you say, if out of all this, if you save one life, it was well worth it.
As a leader, I think that it's my responsibility to ensure that I share my story, because all it takes is one person to hear that story and it may change their lives.
We've just got to move forward. We can't be feeling sorry for ourselves and stuff.
Yeah.
There's too many people out there that need to be aware. And like Kennedy said, if not us, who? And if not now, when? So we've got to do it, and we've got to do it now.
I have to believe there's hope, otherwise I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Of course there's hope. There's always hope.
Lisa Lynn said, my cousin was murdered by hitchhiking in Colorado, but it was common in a small community. I'm so sorry. That's so horrible. I am so sorry.
I think when we're looking at the whole issue of violence against women, it's not just about one initiative. It's not just about one project. What it is, it's a real changing of mindsets, but not only changing of mindsets, it's changing of hearts.
What these cases ask and what we ask as women's rights researchers on a daily basis is, what does the government owe women? And what are the government responsibilities when it comes to preventing violence against women and investigating it?
I think for me, that's the most urgent thing to address is what's happening to our girls right now, today, and what kind of a future are we leaving our girls? Because the measure of success for First Nations is, what's the seventh generation gonna say about you? And if that seventh generation can't remember you, then you've done nothing. And so I think it's important for us to put this period of devastation and homicide of First Nations women behind us.
That is what is going to be key to ensuring that no other woman goes missing. No other woman is being violated, no other woman becomes vulnerable. And, there's going to be a day that I hope not very long down the road where all women will be protected, all women will be safe, right? And that's what we just have to keep working towards.
I'm going to mute it. Gloria Moody, Michelle Pear, homicide July 1970, age 18. 19, Gail Ann Ways, homicide October 19, 1973. Pamela Darlington, homicide November 6, 1973. She was 19. Colleen McMillan, homicide August 9, 1974. She was 16. 14, Monica Ignis, homicide December 13, 1974. Monica Jack, homicide May 6, 1978. She was 12. Maureen Mosey, homicide May 8, 1981. She was 33. Shelby Ann Baku, missing since May 3, 1983, 16. Alberta Williams was 24, last seen August 1989. Delphine Nicole, June 13, 1990. Ramona Wilson, June 11, 1994, 16. Roxanne Tiara, homicide July 1994. She was 15. Alicia, 15. Jermaine, homicide December 1994. Lena Derrick, missing since October 7th, 1995. She was 19. Nicole Haar, missing since June 21st, 2002. She was 25. Tamara Chipman, missing since September 21st, 2005. 14-year-old Aaliyah, homicide February 2nd, 2006. It's just playing music. Dedicated to the missing and murdered women across Canada. In May of 2014, the RCMP released a report stating that 1,017 Indigenous women and girls have been murdered between 1980 and 2012, a homicide rate that is at least 4 times higher than that of all other Canadian women. 4 times higher. That's crazy. Robert Pikton denies responsibility for his crimes. Families of the victims are still waiting for justice. After 20 years of searching for answers, the RCMP has told the Wilson family that they have stopped investigating Ramona Wilson's case due to lack of leads. Native Women's Association of Canada, Human Rights Watch, and many other organizations have been pushing for a national inquiry into the missing and murdered Aboriginal women. Cody, let me write that last name down because I know I spelled it wrong. Legebokoff was sentenced to life in prison with no parole for 25 years on 4 counts of first-degree murder. Prime Minister Harper and the Canadian federal government continue to reject the public's plea for an inquiry. And that was all of that movie. Yeah, the pain the families are still going through, not knowing what happened, I couldn't imagine. I believe, I could see how it could be more than 4 times higher. That's really sad. I don't disagree. It is horrible. So Bad Girl sent me a link to Emily Pike's memorial service. It's just a short video that I'll pull up real quick because I'm going to go after that. I'm feeling sick. I don't know if it was watching that and seeing all the injustice or what, but I really feel like nauseous at the moment. Okay. Hold on a minute. I know you can't see it yet. I'll get it pulled up. No. So this is the memorial service for Emily Pike. It's just a short news clip that we have from it. Okay.
Painted in honor of Emily Pike, just about a mile from where her service was held at San Carlos High School. People from all over coming together to fill the gym. Family telling me Saturday was about sharing Emily's story.
We are here to celebrate the life of Emily Carla Pike.
Over the last 2 days, people from Arizona and beyond have shown up for Emily Pike.
Today, we let the world know who she was.
The 14-year-old making her journey back home, surrounded by her San Carlos Apache family.
Emily spoke so loudly, she caught the whole world's attention.
Emily was living in a Mesa group home when she was reported missing in January.
Stolen said, I was able to go to one of Emily Pike's candlelight vigils in Denver and meet some of her family. I'm glad that you were able to do that. It's really sad what happened to her, and I feel like that too could have been prevented. Harper was a sickening prime minister, a conservative who cut tons of great social programs. We got rid of him. Oh, I'm glad you were able to go, Stolen Spirits, to Emily's memorial service.
Weeks later, she was found killed off the US 60 about 20 minutes northeast of Globe.
Say her name.
What was done to her wasn't right.
Saturday, after an overnight wake, hundreds gathering as families shared memories and pictures of the teen.
Emily overall was smart, sweet, soft-spoken, quiet, funny, and kind-hearted. She was beautiful inside and out. Emily loved Hello Kitty, the color pink. She loved.
They made her a customized casket, which I think is really sweet.
Loved anything and everything that was girly.
Through grief and pain, the community coming together, surrounding both sides of Emily's family.
Knowing that the persons responsible for her death have not been found, that adds to the hurt and the pain and the closure.
While demanding change and justice in Emily's case.
Let us pray for our law enforcement agencies so that they can work together and find whoever did this horrible act.
Just up the road, loved ones and visitors placing red handprints at the bottom of that mural in honor of the teen, a symbol to represent the crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls all over the country.
It just really reflects the ongoing challenges that we have that unfortunately ties us all together in Indian country.
Some even there as Emily's final procession drove by.
We are going to continue to write her story. Through her, laws are going to be changed. Through her, lives are going to be changed.
Ashley Holton, ABC 15, Arizona.
So that was her memorial service. Yeah, it was a beautiful casket, wasn't it? Pikton will never get out, for example. I want to look into that, and I'm going to look into Cody, too. Yeah, I need to do that. A red dress emoji. I'd like to do one with the bells or something. Not the bell. I think it's bells. The ones they make themselves. I've always thought those are really cool. That they do that. They make them by hand. And you don't hear anything about that either. Oh, it's very sad that she had to go what she had to go through. Absolutely heartbreaking. 5 years before that, there was also a Native American man whose body was found at the very same mile marker. Oh, wow. I had no idea. And you never heard anything about that. Pikton was attacked in prison. I'm glad. Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for being here. I'm going to go for today. Please remember Emily and all the murdered and missing Indigenous women. It's really sad. I'm just devastated right now. Like, it's a big issue. It's a really big issue that somebody needs to do something about. You have the red handprint tattoo. Aww. Been listening. I know that in Alaska and other places, the casket's made by the village and natives as a sign of respect so it can be personalized. Oh, really? That might be what happened. Hugs to all. Yeah, thank you. And I hope there is justice for the victims. That's really sweet, Stolen. I'm going to go for the day. If nobody has told you, you are enough, you are important, you are special, and you are loved. And I will see y'all tomorrow. I hope y'all have a good night. Bye.